These cats are wild.
Oh, they're feral.
They're wild.
They're feral, not stray.
Now they go to my dog food thing and eat.
What?
After we moved here.
Okay. I didn't hold it down long enough.
They lived in town.
Let's call the meeting to order.
Oh, already?
Yep.
Okay.
Turn my volume down.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Who'd like to say the prayer?
I will. Heavenly Father, we thank you for getting us through all this turmoil that we've been through and through this bad weather. And it seems like you've always got your hand on our little city. And we're hoping that you'll guide us tonight, look after us tonight, and pray for the safety of everybody here and help us to make decisions that we need to make in an expedited manner if you can. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Roll call. State your names. Start with Bud.
Bud Marandino, Ward 1.
Jim Wright, Ward 3.
Sherry Mitchell, Mayor.
Stephanie Kramer, Ward 2.
Jeff Thibodeau, Ward 3. And Roger, can you hear us?
Let the record show that Lonnie Clayton is absent.
And
And I'd like to remind you all what's said on the record. Whether it's excused or unexcused.
Oh, sorry. He's
I believe you
working.
announced it last.
Yeah, he sent an email, so I'm going to say excused.
And then I interrupted Councilman.
He's joining us from Yuma, Arizona. We realize there's no vote on him tonight. We're trying to set this setup out. Can you hear us okay right now?
I take that as a no.
He's got to unmute first.
Unmute.
Roger, can you hear us right now?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Any conflict of interest? All right. Can I have a motion to approve our consent items?
I'll make that motion.
In a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next item on agenda for approval is going to be the ordinance regulating the use and rental of the city parks. Kind of a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion?
I would like to make them, I think that that's quite a bit to discuss, and we haven't set a rate yet, okay? And that's going to have to be deliberated about and talked about.
There's a rate sheet on the back, which basically is blank at this time,
That's right.
giving you guys the opportunity to set the rental rate.
That's right. And what I guess what I'm saying is would it be possible for us to table this until the council people can talk about this and figure out what kind of rate we want to set? I mean, we're going.
I have a suggestion that the rates be the same as for this building.
The Civic Center.
The
So-
difference would be if they rent the whole park, they get everything for whatever the price of this building is for the day. $500, I believe, right?
$550, I think.
$550 for a resident or whatever. If it's for less, then it's the same hourly rate and the same requirements.
I agree with that. The only thing the deposit, that I kind of want to know what the deposit would be in the ordinance, since the fee rate is separate. The deposit should be pretty important.
You guys will set the deposit and also the rental rates.
Okay, so it would be on this fee sheet here.
Yes.
Could we have a workshop for this?
Well, there's a lot more meat here than just the amount of money that you're gonna do. If we set this fee rate, okay, we're gonna hamstring ourselves on people like, let's say, Margie Jenkins has mentioned that she would like to do a craft sales show,
Right.
okay, over there. Well, she's not gonna put up $550, to do that. But the idea there would be for her to sell booths, or like they do everywhere else, and, charge $25 a person or whatever you charge, and then all that money goes to the city.
Well, let me comment on that, because I kind of said the same thing with Margie. If it's a money-making event for the city, and a citizen proposes that as a money-making event for the city, and they're willing to do whatever the work is, and they do it within the framework and guidelines of the city, then there's no charge.
Right.
But if otherwise, what they want, if they want to do it, to be doing it, then, and make some possibly money off of it, then they got to pay to do it. I'll give you an example. The car show last year, I thought it was a pretty good event myself. I thought it was, the weather cooperated, everything went fine, but there were a few things that were a little bit shady. It was advertised or proposed as a money-making opportunity for the city, and we lost money. And we know why. But all I'm saying is, we want to have those kind of events, and we've got a citizen, or even a non-citizen, that wants to do that, and they think it's a money-making event, then our money will be renting the park. And we rent it for $500 or whatever it is. And if they make $20,000 or they lose from $2,000, that's on them. But they rent it, pay us, and then they fall within whatever the safety, housekeeping guidelines of the park. Same as this building here, whether it's a craft show, whether it's a car show, whether it's a Halloween event that we're not sponsoring or something like that. And as simple as you can make that ordinance to be consistent with the building, I think the better off you be. There's the question, we rent the pavilion out now for what, $25? Without electricity and water.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd leave that in there. That's part of it. Somebody wants to rent the pavilion, that's a piece of this thing. It doesn't change. But if they want the whole park, they get it all. They get the water, they get the electricity, and it's $500, just like this building.
Yeah.
So I just want to kind of, since Lonnie's not here, I want to observe. Bud has asked for a move to table.
Correct.
However, there's also been a statement, we do need to talk about this. It's not really easy for y'all to talk about it unless you're in a public meeting, and this is properly noticed. So perhaps y'all should discuss the things y'all should think about, just like exactly like what you just said, the considerations you should do, and then need to vote on Councilman Marantino's motion to table if he's willing to be patient for a little bit. I don't know. I'm just sort of saying, it's like we got a lot of room to go, but he has moved to table.
Well, let me ask you
But
this.
also, y'all really can't talk about it together
Right.
easily.
Until
So,
we vote, yeah.
Well,
Okay.
well, Drew, I have a question now, okay?
yeah.
The last time we had a meeting, it was said in here that we needed to meet in small groups, and we needed to talk about this stuff before we get to the meeting so that we have a general idea of what we're doing. And we did that
Right,
this
so that
time.
was in this executive session where I explained to you the application of what a walking forum was, so that the details of that is probably not for public discussion.
Well, it's just to expedite the
And so
meeting.
what I'm saying, emphasizing, is that if you want to talk about this issue, let's do it now where the public can hear it.
Well, they're going to still
And
hear
then
it.
do a workshop, another properly noticed meeting where you can do it, but at least now, right now, before we table it, Mr. Wright talked about some things that are important, perhaps we can hear from other, and then we move on. But that's just me. I'm just saying, we can't skip over his motion to table.
Right.
Okay, I want to remove my motion to table.
Okay.
Okay?
I don't know if that's a bad motion.
Well, it's like, can they approve the ordinance, but then do a workshop on the fee schedule? Or is it all encumbrance and where they have to do it all at one time?
I don't
mean,
see how
The
we,
ordinance would be incomplete without the.
yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think.
So I mean, Jim wants to do it similar to the Civic Center.
Now's the time to talk about it.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, Civic Center, which is $550. So I
Well,
think
what's
that's
the
reasonable.
deposit?
I
here?
think the deposit is most important for
That's
cleanup,
You
to
can
make
make
sure
a
they're not
mess of it.
damaged and all that
So
stuff.
for the event center, you have to pay a $350 deposit that we hold
Right.
until after the event's over, in case there's any damage or anything, plus your hourly rate. So if you want to rent it, 2-hour minimum for $175, or you can do 6 hours, with 6 hours equals the entire day. So if you get up to 6 hours, you may as well just rent it out for the entire day. It's $550 if you're non-resident.
So the only thing I would say is this facility has restrooms, air conditioning, running water. The park does not
Doesn't.
have those things, so
That's
it's
gonna-
more of a space thing than anything.
That's
So-
gonna be
but a
on
large-
the people that run their
They would have
event
to
over
bring
there
their
to get their
porta potties and
restrooms
things.
and all that
That's what I
stuff.
mean, it's just an
yeah.
added cost to an event holder that they would have to provide those things. So I don't know about having it as much as this facility, but the deposit may be the same. That's just my thoughts.
Well, we're, kind of arguing about the detail of what it.
There's a lot of details in
But
this.
y'all have to decide on the rate. That's part of the ordinance. Y'all have to decide on the rate.
Well, I'm,
Yeah, kind of where my thought was that just revise the existing ordinance to include the park, however it fits in.
Are you talking about the existing
Rental.
event center agreement?
yeah.
The existing event center agreement? Is that what you're talking about?
The civic center agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said ordinance.
I mean, you may change the title for city property rental. And item A is the civic center, item B is the park.
C is the
dash
pavilion.
C is the pavilion. And D is the sewer plant.
Or the basketball court, whatever.
No, that's.
So if I understand, are you saying to omit this and include it on the existing one?
Well, I mean,
Then we'd have to bring it to the agenda
I'm
in
being a
July.
disruptor
Right.
here, I recognize that, but,
We can basically say that, large events, pick a number for how many people is $750. Small events, pick how many people.
I'm
I mean,
not
nobody's gonna
questioning-
go out there and count people, but this
You
is the
got
way the
more or
rate
less
schedule.
people. There's a lot of moving
Yeah.
parts to this.
I mean, this
I'm
is-
not questioning the
Oh,
dollars.
shit.
Yeah. So if we're not questioning the dollars, let's pick a dollar amount, put it in the rate sheet. We can always revisit the rate sheet at a later date, but we can get this approved.
Yeah, I had a couple questions on it, but they're just minutia.
Okay, so what does everybody think a large or small event should be, number of people wise?
For the full day?
For a large event, say 25 people or more? 750?
Well,
I
mean, I just,
Are we
it's
looking for,
arbitrary
are we
numbers.
looking for money opportunities, or are we looking to not have money? 'Cause
Money for
there-
the city.
we're looking for the city to get paid
Yeah.
if they have
I
an
just-
event, and somebody else to sponsor their own event and do their own thing.
There's nothing really alluring about the park. I'm sorry, it's pretty plain. I would never, ever pay $750 for that.
Well, I mean, if you had a car show. if you
Yeah,
wanted
you're
to
renting
have
a
a
space.
cook-off or, something that was gonna require a lot of booze or stuff, it's got room, I mean, that's what you're renting. I mean, I don't know.
You're gonna have, if you had food trucks or whatever you have, they're gotta pay.
I would say no more than $500.
For a large
And
event.
and a deposit.
Well, that, I mean, I don't care.
So
Right.
500 for a large event, just don't put anything to do with how many people? Just large event, small event?
I think that they make
No,
that
'cause I think, what
decision
if you
when
have
they
a-
decide to rent the whole park
A little
versus.
reunion, I don't think they should be paying the same as, a family reunion paying the same as a car show or whatever. I'm just giving an example.
Yeah, a family reunion's not gonna be a money-making event, where a car show is
Right.
definitely gonna be somebody's trying to make some money on.
Family
Right.
reunion, they're gonna rent the pavilion and then everybody's gonna have access to the swings and the
True, okay,
bathrooms.
And they've got the exclusive use of it.
right.
That's what you're putting your dollars on, is the exclusivity of it.
That nobody else can be next
Right.
to it. Yeah.
Just like you would this building. It's been rented for birthday parties and family reunions, and birthday party and reunions were the same price. I mean, I did it for just the use of that garage, and I paid the same price as renting the entire facility. So it's fair across the board.
Well, what we can do is for the rental, instead of having this all broken down, different locations, what with water, without water, get rid of all of that. Say that renting the part, the fee schedule is $500 plus deposit, and be done with it.
Yeah, you can mimic what the city of Beaumont has.
We've got people that use that pavilion. I would separate it out.
Separate it out.
Is the basketball court included?
That's
in-
not included.
Okay.
Yeah. $50 for the pavilion without water. Is that what we're doing now?
Right now, we're doing 25 without electricity and water, 50 with electricity.
That's cheap.
Actually, I think that's cheap.
Yeah, that's
We
way
should
too
raise
cheap.
it.
$200.
Say 50
You just got
double it.
neighborhood people doing stuff. I mean, we're not trying to make a bunch of money off a kid having a 10-person birthday party.
Yeah, true.
I mean,
If y'all didn't raise it, I wouldn't raise it.
huh?
Yeah.
I would maybe raise the 25, 50, 50, 75.
Is there a deposit at all?
No.
See, I think maybe keep the fee the same, but put a deposit for cleaning.
Yeah, put a $50 deposit on it.
Yeah.
Clean up. You got to pay somebody to go over there and clean it up if they don't clean up.
So the pavilion, $50 deposit? Is that what you
The
feel?
pavilion would be 25
25,
without
75.
what, same as it is,
Yep.
but add a $50 deposit onto the rental of the pavilion.
And then using water and electricity, Sabrina?
It's $50.
50? You want to make that deposit
50.
50?
Yeah.
All right. Any more discussion?
I would eliminate to me, if they rent this building, they also have access to the roof part. I would include that too.
That's always been part of the
Yeah,
original.
that's part of the
You're right.
rental for the event center.
So you got a separate item down there that says event rental excluding, I would just
Well,
eliminate
we're going to
that.
actually get rid of all of that, Jim.
What was the deposit on the park? Did we agree on?
We haven't.
The
We
deposit on this building is $350,
I
if
think
I
it should be
heard
the
it
same.
correctly. Huh?
I think it should be the same. for the park.
350 be good.
350
I think.
deposit?
350 deposit on this building, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
All right, so right now, we're going to do the part 500, 350 deposit.
but we're not going to have large or small events.
No, we're
Is that
going to
what you're
take, we're going
saying?
to redo this
Just
whole page.
Yep.
Yeah.
if you want to rent it, because we don't do large or small here.
Right.
And
Yeah.
is there, I don't see a time frame on this particular fee schedule. Is that an all-day thing? Is it what? Because it's not listed here.
You're talking about the
Well, like this building, I think you said for
It's just
there's
not-
hours.
2 hour
Okay,
minimum.
listed.
Right.
On the second page, number 3, hours of use, park rental hours should be between 8 and 10 p.m.,
So they could have it all day.
basically all day.
So one day, it's a one-day pass.
Yeah.
basically.
So that, I still think it should be
What if someone wants a half day?
put on this fee schedule. That's how long you get it for.
Okay. It's number 3, the time where they can actually rent the park is from 8 to 10, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
And should there be an
Section
option?
5.3.
Should there be an option for a shorter duration and a longer one, like a weekend thing where they want to do 2 consecutive days, they get a discount or anything like that?
I think if it's a 2-day event, let them pay $500 a day,
But one deposit.
one
Okay.
deposit.
Okay.
I mean, what's
We
a
can always-
2-day event? I mean, I
We
don't
can
think
always come back and revisit this as it actually happens.
see how it works. Huh?
Okay,
Lost.
so we're not going to do large and small. We're going to do $500, $350 on the deposit. Pavilion's going to be $25 with a $50 deposit. With water and electric, it's going to be $50.
Yeah.
All right. And that's basically it. Any more discussion?
I missed the part.
Says the park $500 with the deposit? or
$550.
$550 deposit
No, no,
No,
no,
no,
no, no.
350 deposit, just like the building,
Yes.
500 rental,
All
Rental.
day.
all
Yeah,
day.
Even though the
If you
event's
rent it,
in-
you rent it for all day. Whether you use it for an hour or you use it for all day, you rent it for all day. And just, I guess, just put that out there. I mean, Jeff's shaking his head. I mean, talk, speak, because I mean, if you don't agree with it,
Well, I'm shaking my head at a couple of other things. It's not, I'm scratching some stuff out.
Just threw together, just so you know.
Just-
I did that in like 30 minutes, so I didn't really have a whole
we,
lot of time.
yeah, we needed an example.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, are you proposing eliminating the $175 an hour for this building?
no, we're not
No,
doing
no,
that.
this is.
Okay.
We're leaving
this
the
is
building
just-
alone.
This is just for the park. No,
Okay.
no buildings.
Building stays the same,
Yes.
the park, gotcha.
We're not doing $175 an hour at the park.
So if somebody comes in and they've got a craft show or a gumbo cook-off or a car show or something, and they want the city to sponsor it, then our expectation would be for them to tell us how, let me hear your proposal where it's gonna make me money. Is it gonna make me more than $500?
I don't think the city should have
There's
it.
no city sponsoring under that scenario.
Yeah, there's,
Yeah.
yeah,
They
there's nothing
Yeah,
to
that's
do
kind of what-
with
that was the
community
question I
development
was
or
gonna have you-
sponsorship or anything.
By
This is
by
for
leasing
the
this to
park.
somebody else, will that take the liability
Yes.
off of us and put it on them?
They become, yes, they control their, yes. the
They
business.
control their destiny on the money. We get
Can
500.
Roger make a comment?
Sure. Roger? He's taking a nap.
No, he's looking.
Maybe some lag time. Roger, you can make your comment if you want.
So, and I may not
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
so,
I can't hear him.
I can't hear him.
We
Yeah.
can't hear you now.
He's out.
We were hearing you good while ago, now you're not.
The time frame he said, and then I didn't hear the rest of it.
Try it again, Roger.
Come and meet you. I forgot about you, Chief.
8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Yeah, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. is the only time slot, no fractional, that you rent it one time and you got it the whole 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
You're talking about for the pavilion, that's
Park.
what you're talking about?
All of them.
Park,
Either one, any of the three.
any of them.
That's right.
Yeah.
But he's questioning the pavilion, birthday party is what I heard him say.
On the fee schedule, it separates the entire park with or without water and electric. Oh,
Well, they can play all they want to.
Yeah, the park's still
The
available.
park's still available unless it's rented. Now, if it's rented, we're gonna have to do something
Well,
to,
it'd be like you go to a restaurant, and there's a block of rooms, that table's reserved for a party. You
Yeah.
can't sit there, so they can't play that day.
They can go play basketball.
Yeah.
right.
yeah, we'll have to have something in place to, and someone to go do that.
And you make another sign, say park rented,
Yeah.
closed to a private park.
They do that at Pine.
Okay.
All right,
Um,
any,
Yeah, the separation of the water and electric, are we omitting that? Like, or is it always gonna come with electric and water
gonna
with
come.
the
the
park?
pavilion's gonna be.
No, the pavilion's separate, so the entire park, is it separate here?
The entire, if you rent the entire park, it'll include water and
Okay.
electricity.
Okay.
All right, any more discussion?
I'll make the motion or whatever.
All in favor of approving this ordinance, say
Yeah,
aye.
we got a motion.
Aye.
Sorry.
As modified.
As
As
modified.
As
modified.
modified.
I'm not sure if we got a second, did we? Did you get a second?
We did a while ago.
Yeah, but we
Yeah.
didn't for this.
No, you don't need it, because we made a motion, had a second, I removed my thing, so we're voting.
Okay.
All in favor of approving this with modifications or revisions,
Aye.
say aye.
Aye.
Any
Bless you.
opposed? All right, motion carries.
Appreciate
Next.
it, fun.
Next item on the agenda. Well, Drew, do we have to go through the resolution too, even though we already approved the ordinance? Because the resolution pertains to the ordinance of the park.
This resolution, the second one, 7B, pertains to city wants to use the park, which is not a rental.
Right.
It's just,
Okay.
if we want to reserve it, you gotta give 2 months' notice, and it has to be a budget event. It's
Okay.
pretty much city, it's a different focus.
Totally different, okay.
So it'd be like, long story short, Christmas in the park, reserve it, you put it on the calendar. And
2 months in advance.
2 months in
Okay.
advance, but July, it's budgeted, approved, but that's what this
Okay.
is.
Is there do we need to open this up for
Yeah,
discussion?
let's go ahead and open it up.
That's what this resolution.
All right, can I have a motion?
I move that we adopt this.
And I'll second it.
Wait, we gotta open
We're
it for
gonna
discussion.
open it for
first.
discussion
No,
first.
you gotta
Can I have
make a motion and second, and then you open it for discussion.
Can I have a motion?
I made motion.
I second it.
Bud,
Now it's open for discussion.
any discussion? Go ahead, Jeff.
Is there a reason that we've put a 2-month on there? Has it ever been an issue?
We put it-
I'm just wondering why there's a 2-month. I mean, it's out of the blue.
Well, if we're gonna start renting the park, if we have a park calendar, is it really necessary to do 2 months? I don't know.
I mean, we can make it shorter.
Well,
I mean, it's just giving us
if
a
you do it
guideline.
the month before you use,
Yeah.
and there's any question
Yeah.
that has to be tabled or whatever, by doing it 1 month, you're forcing a decision on something that comes down
Oh,
Right
I
away.
the
see.
month before the event.
I
occurs.
see, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why don't you
Just
choose
trying
2
to
months,
streamline.
gives you 30
That
days
makes
to figure
sense.
out any problems.
Yeah.
Realistically, we only use our parks. The
2 or
city
3
would only
times.
reserve the park.
Right.
once a year.
Well, I
Okay.
mean,
Once or twice a
quite
year.
frankly, we ought to be planning far enough ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
2 month is more of like a,
Minimum.
yeah, it's
A
like.
formality, like,
Yeah.
just.
And then if we don't put it on the schedule, somebody could come up and
And
say, oh,
rent
by
the
the way,
park.
I want it, and then that'll shoot
There's
us in
no
the foot.
minimum reservation on the private use.
Yeah.
So 2 months out, you gotta reserve, it's fair enough to everyone. But
Yeah.
that's for 2 months.
Makes sense.
That's for me when I was deciding, I just started deciding because we have 30 days for 2 meetings.
Right.
So I give us
Okay,
2
that
Yeah.
meetings.
That's
that
good.
makes sense now.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Any more discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Next item up on the agenda is the ordinance regulating temporary food vendors. Can I have a motion
I'll make that motion.
and a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yes. And on the, it says down here, I got it circled where it says snow cone stand. Okay, you're wanting, what this ordinance is doing, I guess everybody read it. Everybody read this? Okay, so it says snow cone stand, a temporary setup, mobile or stationary, for sale of shaved ice, snow cones, or similar frozen treats. What it's saying is that over here it says lemonade stand, snow cone, or sales of pre-prepared food on behalf of a nonprofit organization are exempt. But what that's telling you is that a kid can't have a lemonade stand out there unless they're doing it for the Boy Scouts or they're doing it for a nonprofit organization.
No, it says they can
No,
have it
they're
in their yard.
exempt.
No, it doesn't.
Operated by the minors on private property. Boy Scouts can do a hot dog link.
Right.
What's her name with the snow cone stand? She can do that. They are exempt from this ordinance.
Not the way this reads.
It stands operated by minors.
Stands
Well, it
operated by
says
minors.
on behalf, operated by minors on behalf of a nonprofit organization. It says it right there.
Well, it says on private property.
On private
for example.
property.
Well, you got conflicting things there. I'm just telling you.
Okay, so it's or.
No, it's
So-
not. It's and. Don't say or.
Lemonade stands.
Or
snow cone stands,
sales.
Or sales of prepared and stands operated by minors on private property or.
Girl Scout cookies,
I mean,
They're
this is Girl
exempt.
Scout cookies and lemonade stands and
snow cones.
snow cones.
Well,
They're
that's already
exempt.
with that.
Okay, I'm reading what you're reading. I'm reading what you're reading.
I mean,
I'm picking up what you're putting down. But lemonade stands are exempt.
Yes. they're
Snow
exempt.
cone or
Exempt.
sales of pre-prepared food. No, it says snow cones or prepared food on behalf of a
cookies,
nonprofit.
Girl Scout cookies.
Girl Scout.
So we could put a comma
That needs a comma in between
We'll
there.
put a comma in, but
It does.
just for
If you
you.
need the Oxford comma.
Yeah.
it
Well,
can be added.
I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it?
Well, under statutory construction order is what it is.
Well, here's one little grabber, our little snow
Are
cone
those
girl up here.
infused with CBD?
Yeah, I don't want her to go to
I
jail.
will
for
never
this.
confirm nor deny.
Yeah,
God, I'm
Because
gonna
she's not
need it
doing
after
it.
this.
That's-
Not
that's-
profit.
that's
She's-
that's what I'm.
She's
That's what
doing
I'm
it for
saying.
herself.
We'll have a corner
I mean,
of
our kids have had snow cone lemonade
Lemonade
stands
stands
for
forever.
100 years in their yard, so.
They are exempt.
They even beat it in court on fertilizer. They were, these kids, they had a dairy farm and they were using the manure as fertilizer and they were getting taxed and they went before the judge. They were getting taxed on both ends, going in and coming out.
Can you
So
take
we're
off
just
the
saying we
nonprofit?
can't have it on city property. Is that what I mean, that's all it's about, right?
Yeah.
If you're on private property, you can do whatever you want.
Basically, that's what it
That's-
said.
Well, this
basically what
thing
it
here does
says.
say nonprofit.
Yeah.
It's
So
specifically.
like if the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts was to reserve this or have a link sale, if it's going to a nonprofit, then yes, they can.
They're
do it on their
exempt.
property.
Yeah, but if I want to, if my granddaughter wants to sell snow cones in front of my driveway,
She's exempt.
she's not because that's nonprofit, she's trying to make.
Well, that's
money.
if they put a comma, if they put a comma right here,
Or it will.
snow cones, comma, or sales of prepared food by a nonprofit. See what I'm saying? If you
Oh,
said
okay,
snow
you're
cones
saying-
would be
Oh, I
exempt
got you,
then.
I got you.
Oh, wait, no,
Drew
no, no.
pointed that out. That's a
So
good
Jeff-
catch.
Oxford comma
Jeff-
solves it all.
Jeff said if you're on private property, you can do whatever you want, but this says within the city limits, not city
But
property.
that's for food trucks.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I just want to make sure that was,
But I
okay.
was just going about B,
Okay.
talking about exemption
Oh,
B.
only with the
All right,
snow
what
cones,
else you got,
okay.
bud?
All right, any
Okay.
more
Yeah.
discussion?
I have a discussion.
Okay.
I think we're really barking up a bad tree if we're putting more unenforceable ordinances on the books when we don't have a way to even have people pay or to enforce permits on roofs, permits on new buildings, violations of this, violations of that. We don't have a way to enforce this. And so we're just adding more to it.
You're pointing up an issue that Sherry and I talked about here last week.
Mhm.
I agree with you, but the issue is not to avoid that, it's to figure out how to solve the ordinance enforcement issue.
Right.
And, I don't know what the enforcement, was somebody pulls a food truck up there by the fireworks stand, they don't have the fireworks people
permission,
approval on
right.
it. Can we call, or can they call the police and have them move it?
I think
This
it's.
Well, that's
state
private
law.
property.
The
This will
300
allow
foot
it.
rule.
That
Yeah.
belongs to Trina.
Well, still, you didn't answer my question.
Oh, fireworks.
If they pull a food truck up over here at the park, or they pull one up, let's say in front of Sitco, let's say our crawfish stand, okay? Sitting over here in front of Sitco. I have no problem, if we're gonna set this crawfish stand up, we're talking about it next year in Beaumont, okay? You have to have a permit in Beaumont to operate.
Right.
Now, you also have to operate under Jefferson County, but you gotta operate under Beaumont also. You have to have a Beaumont permit.
I don't remember.
I don't see
yeah.
anything, what's wrong with having a city permit for a
I
food
don't-
truck?
I don't see a problem.
Well,
I mean, if I'm gonna if I set that crawfish truck up there, I'm gonna come get a permit.
Is this in line with, because I can't remember if it was
That's
county
state.
or state?
That's
State law,
Yeah.
okay.
You
So
got
the
to figure
300
that.
One
foot.
thing that's not included in this is the actual permit fee, because we don't have a fee schedule attached to this, so we need to discuss what you guys want to charge for a permit fee.
Well, to me, here's my own personal purpose. We've got a couple of merchants up here that sell food. And they are paying taxes, or we're paying taxes when we go there and buy it. They are a source of revenue
For
to
the
us.
city.
Now, if somebody builds another restaurant in that building and puts Botros or King's out of business, that's
Cost of
the nature
doing
of
business.
Right, nature of the beast, yeah.
marketing, capitalism. So that happens, but for us to allow somebody periodically to come in and take away
Right.
from our, our money bag, which that's not that much, but we still make them. But I think it's fair to them to allow that to happen.
And have a permit, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think this
Yeah.
calls for a permit now.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
that's all
guys.
we're gonna get off of them. We're not gonna get any of the
It's
sales
gonna be a
tax.
one-time thing. So
No,
you
no,
guys
it's-
need to come up with a dollar amount to charge them for a permit fee.
Well,
This would also
but
include.
first we gotta have a length of time for the permit. If they're gonna come
It
set up
was
for
30
2
days.
days,
That's
Well, it's
interesting.
30 days.
30 days.
it's gonna be a 30-day permit?
Yes,
So,
for no more
dang.
than 30 days.
Well, how are we gonna do crawfish season if we set up?
Then you get another permit.
We just have to keep
30
going
days,
and
30 days,
paying
30
permits
days. Yeah.
every 30 days?
Renewal request, reapplication and inspection. It's right under D.
Well, I don't think I don't believe
D.
that happens in Beaumont. I think if you get a permit in Beaumont, you have a permit.
Like an annual.
You don't have to just keep going back and get a permit and permit and
But
permit.
most food trucks they're limited to 1 or 2 days
Oh,
anyway.
that's the question.
Because they're temporary sites and
They're
because
temporary.
of
They gotta
zoning
be
changes.
temporary.
Yeah,
you
they are
can't-
very, very
Whatever
temporary.
the
I think they may only be a
temporary
couple of
One
weeks.
day.
Right, because zoning
Maybe
change
the
any
permits
time,
per month, you know.
or property sales.
Beaumont had a thing where you had to move your trailer every day. You couldn't
Oh.
leave it there overnight.
But we don't have enough commercial property to have them move every day.
I mean, they had a thing, but then, that was that was hard on the food truck people to have to move to move a trailer every day. I mean, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't move a trailer every day.
Well, let's pick a permit fee dollar amount.
Where,
I would say $75, and then let's set the length of the time of the permit based on how Beaumont does theirs. How about that?
I'd say a 10-day permit, I don't know about 30 days.
10 days?
Yeah.
$10 a
So-
day?
What's that?
What'd you say, $10?
10
No, no, no.
days.
10-day
Oh,
permit.
He was saying, she was saying 10
Find
days.
out what Beaumont charges.
So if we-
Temporary food permits for 1 to 5 booths are $30 a booth for 14 days.
14 days.
temporary booth. That's not a
That's a
food
booth,
truck.
yeah.
That's not a food truck.
Temporary food
Permit.
permit.
Food permit, not
So that
booth.
would be a fee.
Mobile food units.
And then you gotta go, how much is it?
It's
Fixing to have us not setting up Beaumont. You
What
gotta
is
pay
it,
them.
$30?
Yeah, it's a lot.
It was, well, I'm going to hear about
I mean,
how it started.
And we don't really
After
need to
they've been
follow what
properly-
Beaumont does. I mean, we have to do what's best for the city of Bevel Oaks. Do what's best for the city of Bevel Oaks. I mean, it's like the permit fee, let's say if it's $50, it's good for 30 days with an extension, a one-time extension for free. If you want to set up longer than that.
He's looking.
Yeah.
All I saw was a temporary food
Because
permit.
also too, I mean,
It
but
was $30 per.
you also got to keep in mind
It
too,
does say food.
But
you
it's
want to do a crawfish
$220.
Per day of
stand,
operation.
don't
For a
want to create a
special
conflict of
event.
interest when we're talking about this, using yourself as an example.
That was just an
No,
example.
I
That was
know.
my son's
So
thing.
like,
Yeah.
in this example, I think what they're talking about is if Beaumont does a craft fair, there's booths.
Booth.
You pay $30 a day, but if it's a special event, you're putting it on, it's not the city, it's $220.
That's
Pretty
expensive.
expensive. So I kind of like the 75 to
30 days.
$100 range for 10 to 14 days, but.
Oh, you put a food truck out of business. I mean, you put a
No,
crawfish
no,
stand out.
they won't come here.
Yeah, we just think,
They
just
won't come
go
here.
park down the road further, and then you won't get the,
That bother
you won't
anybody?
get the foot
Where
traffic
are they parking, by the way?
on Jeff Frank's property, or at the feed store. Smash Burger set up at the feed store.
So you guys
That's
wanna
within
do-
300 feet, though. He can't do that.
Within
Unless there's
300
written
feet.
300 feet of a brick and mortar restaurant.
But they
to
could
get-
have-
They'd have to get a permit from King.
Right.
They would have to get written permission
Approval
from
King's
King's
Mart
or
or
Martha.
Botros.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean,
How much for the
or the
permit?
fireworks
let
stand.
me, let me ask.
Well, I'm
you-
gonna abstain from voting, because y'all are, that's stepping on my toes now, so I'm
Step-
out of this.
Stepping
Well,
on your
because-
toes.
Because he's got a food truck.
I've got a conflict of interest with that.
Oh, well, that should have been said previously, right?
Well, I just now realized that it did,
Okay.
so
Yeah,
I
he
can't,
didn't realize,
I
so-
can't go back
Okay.
and do it. I have to
Gotcha.
do it now. So, I'm done with it. If I could
Yes,
go
sir.
back in time, I would.
Yes.
With him sustaining, does that eliminate a quorum?
That
We still have
eliminates
to-
this.
Abstaining is just the result of a vote.
Okay, so. but
It ends up being a
his
yes.
presence
He's
means
still,
He's still here, so we still have a quorum. All right, so we want to do a 30-day permit, or what do we want to do? Well, this discussion is still going on time frame.
I think 30 days is fine. I mean, we're
30
limited in
days.
30
space
days,
though.
30
The
days.
problem
They're not
is,
gonna stay here
problem
that
is you
long.
give a 30-day, that means no other truck come in for the 30 days. If you want some sort of,
But this doesn't limit to only one truck. What if,
well, where are they parking? There's no other places for them to park.
Well,
If they- if
also,
they wanted to
I mean,
park at the park.
Would this apply, I'm trying to track the thread, is if we have food trucks and a big event,
Yeah.
and a car shows. you know, food
Yeah.
trucks,
and then we
they're
collect
all
the,
gonna get
they're only gonna be here for a day.
Yeah, there should be a daily rate and then like a, and, I don't know. I just don't see somebody sitting here for 30 days.
But if we give them the option of 30 days, they can stay 2 days. It's better to give them more days than not enough days.
But I think what you'll find is they'll go, well, if I'm only gonna be here 2 days, so can I get a cheaper rate?
Nope. Well, so what type of permit fee do you want, regardless of how many days we give them? What, 50?
I'd say $30 for 30 days.
$1 a day? Okay. Any other ideas?
That can't be subdivided.
No.
If somebody wants a 14-day,
It'd still be
Still be
$30. Yeah.
Walmart gives a 14-day, right?
Well, I think it depends on where they're parking, to be
depends on
honest
what
with
they're
you.
doing. They're referring to booths.
There's really-
Well, I mean, we're saying temporary food permit. We're not saying a temporary food truck permit.
Right. You're right.
So you could set up a booth.
For 14 days.
Yeah, I mean,
14 days,
little-
okay.
little Curry down here, go sit her.
Well, she's
snow cone
exempt
booth up there
anyway.
by North Post Road.
Yeah, but she's
Okay.
exempt.
Man,
All
it's
right,
just
so any more discussion?
shut
We're gonna
people
do
down.
$30 for the permit fee for 14 days. Any more discussion? All in favor?
We're gonna
But-
have to, y'all are gonna have to do another motion second, because he's open for discussion now. Y'all are gonna have to do another motion.
Can I still discuss or just, I can't vote? Is that right?
Well, we're through discussing. You can discuss.
Can vote, but
Okay, so here's another thing. We have a citizen that's wanting to set up a coffee shop. They've been working on it. They're gonna park it up there next to King's, okay? On that, my friend's property. And that brings, she's only gonna sell coffee. That's gonna bring revenue to King's Mart, taxable
Both of
stuff
them,
that they
yeah.
sell,
Yeah, they'll
okay?
tax
When we had our thing set up there, they sold a ton of beer and stuff. I mean, because people were walking over there and buying all kind of stuff at King's Mart. They sold a lot of stuff. I mean, just their beer sales at King's Mart. You know, they were waiting on their crawfish. They go over there and get a 12-pack to take home, you know, with them. I mean,
Well, I'll
it
say
just,
if it's temporary, it's still temporary. If they build a permanent thing there, it's a totally different ballgame.
Yeah, longer
Mhm.
lease is different. Different insurance and everything.
well, we're going to charge our citizens then what, $30 for 30 days? Is that what it's going to be?
14 days.
Huh?
14 days.
$30 for 14 days?
I thought we said
That's-
30 days.
I think 30 days would be more.
Jeff and I both kind of
They
suggested
said
14. That
14.
doesn't mean we have to settle on that, but
Well, I mean, I was trying to be consistent with Beaumont. We knew, you said they had a food temporary. What
it was
is
like
it?
14 days.
14 days.
Yeah,
How much for 14 days?
$30.
30,
Well, then make it the same as Beaumont.
yeah.
All right, so you got 14 days. You guys got 14 days. Bud, you're out. So, but
I think
anyway,
it's-
let's
I
have
think
a
it's-
motion to open this up for discussion, being that Bud is out.
Yeah, I think.
Can I have a motion
I'll make that motion.
and a second?
One second.
All right. So we're doing $30 fees, 14 days for the permit. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Any opposed?
And I abstain.
And Bud abstained.
Well, I mean, what we voted on was the whole ordinance, not just 30 days.
Well, yeah, no,
Yeah.
I was just
Right.
repeating back what we actually changed so she can keep up with it too. All right, so we are now at D. All right, up for consideration, discussion, and approval, a resolution requiring that all municipal firework displays be conducted under supervision of a licensed pyrotechnician. Can I have a motion
I'll make that motion.
and a second?
I'll second that.
And any discussion?
Yes. Yes. We have done extensive research and exhaustive phone calls and discussions with the state fire marshal up and down, both from Amarillo all the way down to Jasper, and they are of the same opinion that that is not a requirement to have a license.
Okay,
And
But it says right here, do not require the need for pyrotechnician for 1.4G.
which is the commercial, we call residential.
Right.
Consumer. Yeah, so there's actually,
So it's
it's
kind
covering
of,
two.
yeah, it's kind of conflicting, but yeah.
The third whereas needs to be modified to
1B.
say the 13G or 14G.
Right.
Yeah, because consumer grade is basically what
Oh,
Jeff
yeah, 1
shoots
point.
off. It does not require the need of a pyrotechnician.
Right.
Okay, do we have safety data sheets for all items used in the display?
I'm sure Jeff will bring it to us.
yes, we have that in spades. In fact, we went straight to China for the people who manufactured it, and we're asking for that.
Okay, so you have that. So do we have written sales invoice or proof of purchase of the fireworks?
We haven't purchased anything yet, but when we do purchase, we have it.
And so,
So when I looked at this, I mean, it seems like when I read the laws anyway, seems like everything should be in line. The only thing that I wasn't sure of is the vendor, who's a retailer. And the handwritten receipt from last year, there was no license number on there. Is she licensed as a retailer, do you know, or permit? Or do we need to get a different
Couldn't
vendor?
buy them.
I didn't. She wouldn't sell them to us at that price. So we've been using the people that the church has been using
Right.
for years and years. You can't buy without a license. So if we need a copy of his license, this is all new. We can,
No, I'm just saying, right, I'm just saying
I'm sure we
going
can put that on there.
forward, just make sure that that's on there. That's the only thing I thought we would maybe be out of
And the only
compliance
time you would
with.
need a pyrotechnician is if he uses like commercial grade.
Right.
The big stuff.
Yeah.
And he's not doing that.
yeah, I can't even buy that.
Chris, do you have anything to say?
No, I mean, I wrote the mayor email, right, and that's the first two. We've done some exhaustive phone conversations with state fire marshal, local fire marshal office here, and I think we can put to bed the fact that as the shooter puts on the display here in Beverly Oaks, there is no need for a license. He doesn't have to have a license. And because he doesn't have to have a license, it's not required to have a state permit. You don't have to request one from the state. However, speaking with Jeff, is that we will follow the permit plan as if we were getting it from the state. And follow, I think there's 16, 18 things that we have to fill out, and we will, and have it locally, and kept locally, and follow these safety guidelines to assure that the safety regulations and safety provisions that we put in place are maintained, so there's no, some mishap and someone is injured. And, as the authority having jurisdiction, which is me, I'm responsible for that. And in working with Jeff, we can make that happen. We'll, take all the precautions necessary to ensure that this happens goes on.
Can I ask Chris a question?
Yeah.
How far away is any compressed gas in the fire station from where the shooter would shoot off?
Gas, the fire station.
Yeah, you don't?
No CO2.
Air packs.
We don't have a
Yeah.
gas line anywhere?
Oh, there are, you're talking about like pipelines?
We have pipelines and you don't have any oxygen tanks or anything in that facility?
Oh, we have.
Air
oxygen
tank.
in our medical
Yeah, that's
bag.
compressed gas, yeah,
Yeah, but.
yeah,
Yeah, we have oxygen tanks in our medical bags, but
right,
the tanks that we have compressed air, which is breathing air.
Right.
That we have in our station on the engine.
okay. As long as, I don't see a problem with that, I just want to make sure we're in compliance, so.
Any more discussion?
So as a point of reference, the ESD will be the owner of the permit.
Right.
It won't have, the city won't have anything to do with it.
No.
It'll be up to the person that's organizing to get with the chief, to do the walkthrough, and there's all types of, as he mentioned, all types of hoops to jump through. And then when the person puts their, if it's not going to be the city, it'd be somebody else that comes to get the park rental and the permitting, they will have that to give to the city to show that it's already been done.
And we do have insurance ready for the 4th of July.
That's correct.
Yes,
Yeah,
so-
we actually did that in '23,
Yes.
and it's been
But at the end of the day, Jeff, this is all about protecting you. That's the whole thing.
look, I get it. And since I was the one that actually
Yeah,
got the
exactly.
insurance, I completely
Yeah.
understand. Yes.
Yeah,
All right.
it's the compliance with applicable laws, ease the law,
Yeah.
effectively, one of that we're primarily concerned with.
Organized.
Any more discussion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Next, we're good, Chris, thank you. I appreciate your
Chris,
time.
appreciate your effort. You
All
were
right,
above
next,
and beyond.
Ider.
Either?
Ider. I tell you, I got a headache. Next item up for consideration,
It's
discussion
still
and approval
daylight.
is the budget for the 4th of July presented by Jeff. Can I
Okay.
have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Bud and Sabrina, Stephanie, never mind. All right. I'm telling you, I got a headache. All right, go ahead, Jeff.
Okay, so under tab 7E, the very first page, of course, is the agenda item. Second page is the overall budget as presented and approved last year for community development. And our approved budget was $5,000 for Independence Day celebration. The next page is what we actually spent in '24, which was under budget at $4,700. And I will say this year, we've already got a sponsor for the second line, the $350, so that's coming off. We will not have much to buy at Sam's because we're not serving hot dogs or chili pie or anything like that. So that will be considerably less. We've not nailed down anybody for water slides yet. I wanted to bring this to council. Last year, it was made very plain, very clear, that anybody who we hire has got to have insurance. And we absolutely agree with that. And we called several people locally. They could not provide that, so we had to look outside. I'm now looking at these same local vendors again so that we could potentially get our local vendors to come in, but as long as they've got their insurance. So that's why I don't have an exact figure, because some of this may be donated as the ice has been, as sponsored. We are going to give snow cones, popcorn, perhaps lemonade. We've got water donated. The ice will be donated. So again, this is really going to be a lot cheaper than before. We don't have to buy the plywood from Home Depot, but then again, we're not selling tickets. So the tickets we sold last year covered everything we bought at Sam's, but we're not doing that this year. This is going to be just gratis. So we're going to be giving, next page, well, we're going to actually look for, let's see. Oh, okay, the next page, I wanted to go through our planning session that we had on June the 9th. We have members from all wards. This was put out on all the Facebook pages that anybody that's interested, this is going to be the one and only planning session. If you're interested, please come out. We've had the people on this page have committed. There were some that couldn't come to the meeting. However, they'll still be there for our event and to help us pull it off. So we've got people from all wards, and we're all in agreement that we're trying to save all we can. It is going to be on July the 4th. It is going to be on Friday. It'll be from 5 to 10. We do have a jump house for the littles. The city owns that. The water slides, again, pending quotes. We'll have those fun snacks, as I mentioned, snow cone, popcorn, bottles of water, perhaps lemonade. And then we're going to have some games this year. We're going to see how that's going to work with tug of war, water guns, no water balloons because we don't want to be picking up latex for years. So we're going to have maybe some little kid pools that you can fill your filling station for your water guns, super soakers, what have you. So give something for the kiddos to do, run, burn off some energy. Someone mentioned a football toss, sack races, cornhole. That's kind of tentative. Tug of war. I am going to be looking for a large rope. I've got one identified for less than $50. I can buy the rope with the ribbons and all. So we're trying to keep the cost down, and we do have quite a bit of interest. It's all going to be a lot of fun. I talked with David Kaiser with the Kaiser Band, and he may be interested in maybe coming up here with his git fiddle and maybe singing a little bit for us. Don't know for sure yet. That's to be. He said he's open that day. So anyway, the parade will be. Let's see if we have. Okay, team leads. Next page. Your team leads on the assignments. Margie is doing small banners. The banners will be for the events that are going around, like the tug of war here and the football toss over here and all that. So Taz and Melissa are going to be over the edibles.
Yeah.
Snow cones, popcorn, pickles, watermelons, perhaps. All the activities, Andrew is going to be putting that together. And each of these team leads are responsible for having their own helpers. So they're recruiting people. The parade, Melissa and Carmen, they're already very active. They've got some floats that have...
Cameron, not Carmen.
Oh, boy, I did
Cameron.
it again. Thank you. Man, that is a slip every single time. And he corrects me.
Every time.
Every time. So anyway, Melissa and Cameron are heading up the parade. They've got several floats that are already interested. Anybody with a side-by-side that they see, they're inviting out. The parade route will be published, and we'll have suggested spots where everybody stands. So as we're throwing the candy out, then we'll be inviting them for the fireworks show as well. So the music, communication, all the two-way radios and the fireworks, I'll take care of all that.
You giving any awards for the parade?
So I think I'm going to buy some ribbons, just real cheap ribbons. At the meeting, it seemed like the interest of doing that got a little heavy in the weeds. So if we could put some broad brushes on that, best bicycle, the best golf cart, side by side.
I would get into categories. I just have one best MAGA theme.
Best original.
Best American
Best
Pie.
American Independence Day.
So
Yeah.
we'd absolutely love to have some ideas on that.
I did that because I got all my grandkids to do. They built the float. We lost. Then they were mad.
I have a question on the water slide.
Okay.
If someone donates a water slide, do they have to have insurance?
So
That's a
I
good
was going
point.
to ask the question, is the insurance requirement because they're setting it up? Because I thought we set it up.
No.
No.
They
they
set
do.
it up, take it
They
down.
do.
Oh, okay. So that's why they have to have insurance.
And the city will sign off. Everybody that I know has a sign-off sheet where somebody from the city's going to have to sign for that
And for
water slide.
that sort of
They
thing
have,
for
they have,
setup,
they have
don't-
guidelines. You have to watch, you have to tend to it. You have to make sure that the kids aren't going, together and all,
I took delivery of the 3 that we had here, the 3 water features we had last time, and
There was no paperwork.
they didn't give me any. The only paperwork that took place, exchanged hands, was them emailing the insurance to the office,
Okay.
and that was it. They set up, they tore down, and they allowed us to keep it the whole weekend. So we got it on a Friday, and they didn't come pick it up until, well, I called them Sunday because the weather was getting bad, but they weren't planning to pick it up until Monday. So,
According to your receipt, you paid for a one-day pickup, extra one-day pickup fee was $300.
extra one-day pickup?
On the receipt that you turned in on your expense for the 2024, for the water slide, I saw it somewhere, because I questioned that. In other words, they charge you a rental fee, and then they charged you a special pickup fee, because normally they deliver those, they normally do leave them for 2 days. If you're only going to rent it for a few hours, then they charge you extra to come back and pick it up that same day. I saw it on your receipt. I thought, maybe, I don't see it here.
Yeah.
See it
See it
here.
I mean, I've seen these water slides with big cities, so is it just the vendors that we've been working with that don't have insurance, or is that kind of a common thing, and maybe the bigger cities like cover them under theirs? I don't know how that works.
I mean, some of these businesses are basically part-time businesses.
Right.
Yes.
So my question still is
The ones that
if
Jeff's
somebody
used before,
donates a
yes.
water slide, do they have to have insurance?
That's a good question.
Technically, yes, they're gonna have to have insurance, not only to protect themselves, but to protect the cities.
Right.
I would say
We would.
no, because we did it.
So,
I mean, we did it for Christmas in the
the
park.
liability is going to flow from the condition of the water slide. So if they have insurance, they should. There's a condition of the water slide. I will tell y'all, I personally had a
Torch case.
significant personal injury case where my client snapped his finger jumping through one of those things.
Okay.
Ow.
I can't.
Because it wasn't maintained well. That's the condition of it.
Right.
On Lake Livingston, and
I want to hear it.
I'm just on record. And so that's the insurance for the provider of it will cover that, but the entity that's allowing and supervising conduct
Also.
on it, because if you have 2 or 3, someone breaks their nose, slides down, or gets a
Hit
concussion,
somebody.
does whatever, breaks a finger. That's going to be on who is supervising.
Okay.
That's
Which is the city.
complicated thing with those.
Yeah.
Providing those is, it's a good question to ask. Are you going to have someone there sitting there watching it, making sure that they're going one at a time? We've all been there when it's like one at a time,
Right.
wait.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
for a reason. That's because their liability flows from the operations.
Yeah, the backyard parties are usually less concerning, but city running it is a little.
We had multiples
Risky.
last time, so that the bigger kids were on these, and the littles, we have our own. We had them in a small one.
Me. It might have worked out, but
Yeah.
I'm really good at identifying issues. So, if you want to, it's,
Somebody needs to be supervising the
Yeah.
slide.
some entity needs to supervise it, and you're going to pay for that.
Can we have all the parents sign a waiver?
You can.
Let's do that.
That is
Waivers.
why when you go to Jump World,
Right. Right.
But
But the
they
city's
still
not
have-
responsible.
But they still have a liability, they still can be sued in signing a waiver.
Well,
Believe it or
could
not.
the city wouldn't though? The company, that's
the
why
city
they.
always generally has.
We have the
limited-
deeper
The
pockets.
city's liability is limited, but it still
Right.
exists.
Yeah.
But yes, you can provide, they can have to sign a waiver, and a lot of these vendors that are providing services to municipalities
Right.
will charge less because there's less exposure.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the long and the short of it. When you're doing an activity,
Yeah.
the supervisor has, and the insurance on the condition of the water slide is not the person, is not the only person that has exposure to it.
And how do you check that each kid running up that slide has had a waiver signed?
It's difficult.
Yeah.
Wristbands.
Wristbands, I guess. Yeah.
And if you guys decide to do it, I have some wristbands I can donate.
Okay.
That's at the shop.
I think a
That's the
waiver-
water slide.
I think a waiver form would help, regardless of.
Well,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, what type of budget are you asking for, Jeff?
Oh yeah.
That's-
5,000 is what has been asked and approved. So I just told you that I was hoping I'm going to save this money, but I mean, my budget, I was just trying to go over.
So
what-
basically
And the
you're
reason
saying-
I'm-
oh,
well,
sorry.
so the reason I'm asking is because the spending policy is basically $2,500 per calendar month. If it's gonna be over that, you're bringing it to council like you're supposed to. So if you're asking to spend 5,000, council knows that you're doing it, and it's not gonna be a conflict with our spending policy.
So does the spending policy trump what the budget was approved
Yes.
last year?
It does. Spending policy.
So what was the
says-
point of having a budget meeting last year if we're gonna
Well,
amend that?
It's just like household budgets. Budgets are just a guideline of what we can and can't do, or what dollar amounts that we can and can't spend. That's all it is. But the spending policy came into play because, I want to make sure my spending's in check, yours, everybody else's. That's why there's a spending policy.
Spend whatever you want.
Right, as long as it's with council's approval.
So, I mean,
I don't have
to
any,
me, the budget was approved at $20,000 last year.
Right.
Now, if you're coming in here and you're telling me this is, you spent 3 and this is gonna cost you 17, you're done. I mean,
But he's allowed to spend
But-
17.
yeah,
he is,
yeah,
because-
I mean, I wouldn't let him get away with that, but,
Yeah, yeah.
but say you went 6 or 6.5 something, I wouldn't, my question would be, okay, Jeff, how are you gonna recover that $1,500 over from the rest of the activities?
but he's
you
actually not going over, he's actually just abiding
But-
by the $2,500 rule in a month's spend.
Right, but in
Yeah.
Jeff's defense, though, when we did the budget meeting, we didn't say, hey, Jeff, you can only spend 5,000 here and 5,000 there.
Right, right.
We didn't specify, we
Because
said,
it
we gave
wasn't
him a
an
dollar
issue.
amount.
Mhm.
Exactly, we
Yeah,
gave him a
the
dollar amount,
spending policy limits don't necessarily apply here.
Right,
but it's just a guide.
Okay.
but I do have
Thank you.
a question, so you said you
Wait.
might, sorry, you go.
No, I interrupted you.
So you're saving on like the food stuff, and then are these gonna be like new expenses for you, the game stuff? So probably take that money up, probably
It
a
may.
little bit.
It
yeah.
may. We're not buying anybody water guns,
Oh, I got it, yeah.
we're,
So you-
and you're looking at toe sacks,
You come in here
So if
projecting
you
to
don't-
spend less money than you had budgeted
Mhm.
earlier, so.
Yes, sir.
Move
Yeah,
on, let's
move
go.
on.
Okay.
Yep.
So the last page of my report is the supporting documents
Hey,
that
can I
Chris.
ask that, get an answer to the question that I asked?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, if somebody donates a water slide, do they have to have
Oh, yeah.
insurance?
Is there a definitive answer on that, sir?
Drew,
Drew, if somebody donates a bounce house, let's say, because that's what we do for Christmas, we're not gonna put water in it on Christmas. But if, that's what we did last year, and we set it up
Christmas
right
in
out
the Park,
here.
yeah.
We set it up for a few hours. It was set up out there and the kids played on it. It was a nice one. It was donated by a resident out here to let the city use for our Christmas in the Park event. And he does not have insurance. So
If they donate it.
do we just have to tell the kids, no, you can't, I mean, we can't do it, even, we're not paying for it. I mean, we're just letting him set it up out there. He set it up.
Well, I think
it's
the
not applies.
question is, does he have insurance?
He
If
doesn't.
You don't set it up, so that's not.
Right.
We'll make sure the.
Well, I mean, if, that's my question. If we,
Okay, so there's-
if somebody donates one, do they have to have
There's That
insurance?
one, he owns a house, he does have.
Homeowners.
Huh?
Oh.
Homeowners.
If he owns a house, he does have insurance.
Ah.
Yep.
But,
Umbrella policy.
Well, he's not giving it to us as a business. He's giving it to us as a
Citizen.
courtesy. He's giving it to us out of his house. It's something like me loaning Jeff my trailer.
Your barbecue. Or
And
whatever,
thank you,
yeah.
by the way.
Okay? I mean, or whatever. I mean, whatever, I mean, if you're doing that and then Jeff wrecks and the trailer comes loose from his, my hitch breaks, well then, I have insurance, so, I mean, it could fall back on my insurance because my hitch broke.
Yeah, we're looking
so-
at injury,
so
though.
what specifically is your question? Because, again,
Spe-
there's
specific-
insurance
specifically.
related to the actual performance of the bounce house, and then there's also the supervision of the bounce house.
Can someone, if someone donates a bounce house, do they have to have insurance? If they donate it, they're just bringing it up here and setting it up,
And the
and then
city's
they're
not paying
picking it
for
up.
The question,
It's a city event, so I think
the question is always, whatever is donated do we have
Who
coverage?
pays for the insurance?
Yeah, right. Are we prepared for the operation of it? If we have a snow cone machine, do they have to have, if someone donates a snow cone machine,
We have to have
are
a food
we, do
handler's
we require them
license.
to have insurance in case it doesn't explode, or there's botulism in it? Or are we just going, or, like, you can always ask that question, and so I can always give you a specific answer on the risk associated with the donated use of a piece of equipment. But what is most important is how the city is supervising and utilizing that equipment. Using a jackleg trailer, using a botulism-infused snow cone stand, using a, water slide.
Or people donate bicycles,
I think
and then
you
the
need to-
kid wrecks the bicycle, or they,
So it's our operations. The city's primary exposure is the operations that we use. And so if we have 2 adults supervising the execution of the bounce house, and some kid gets a bloody nose, is that going to expose us to significant liability?
No.
It could, but in general, that's a managed use of anticipated potential minor exposure. So everything is a risk utility balance, and so
But if he
so the
lost,
donated use of a bounce house, which is it's not a super dangerous thing. A water slide is a little more dangerous.
That's right.
Fireworks are incredibly more dangerous. And so every part of it is, should we let, have a 3-year-old, junior fireworks shooter program where 3-year-olds are shooting their fireworks off? Probably not, right? But can we let 3-year-olds on a bounce house? Yes, we can. So everything's on a spectrum. So the donated use of the equipment and the property is case-by-case basis. To answer your question, a bounce house that's supervised, if we're supervising its operation, it's likely a reasonable degree of acceptable exposure to liability.
so the answer to my question is, what you're saying is as long as we pay attention and we man it and we do something, if somebody wants to donate a bounce house and they don't have insurance on their company that
See
the
if the
bounce
city's-
house is part
See if
of,
the city's insurance would cover
Yeah.
it. That's what I would do.
That would not be how I answered it.
Mm.
But
That's what I would say.
you have the trajectory of how I would answer it.
I'm just all I'm thinking about
Because,
is
I mean, we're
Christmas in the
covered for the
park right
fireworks.
now. I'm focusing on
So we
that,
should be able
and
to
it was a
cover
big
it.
deal to have that slide set up out there. It made it look like a big deal, and I mean,
I think
But
that
my
this-
concern would be for him.
Yeah.
And that separation
well,
of,
that's on him, if
But
he wants
we
to.
are covered. We are adequately
Yeah, we're-
covered.
We've
But
got liability
some
people
insurance.
aren't-
He's-
Our liability is adequately covered.
He's doing it because he's donating it because people are going, hey man, that's Alfred's business, and Alfred's letting us use this thing. Hey, if I want to rent a bounce house or a water slide, Alfred helped the city out.
Right,
man. I'm
but he
gonna-
might-
so let me sum up what I hear. If he gives us the use of that bounce house and we man it, we minimize any liability. By him, if he gives us a defective bounce house, that liability goes to him, so you'd end up.
Not necessarily,
Not-
not
We
necessarily.
accept it in that condition.
Unless we have notice of it.
No.
Y'all are asking unusual questions for a lawyer that,
It's not a yes
what,
or
what
no.
are you concerned about on this insurance if someone donates?
Being sued.
We
For
have-
injury.
We are adequately covered as long as we take care
But
of
the
our
person that's
business.
donating it would also potentially have liability as well.
He's accepting
I
that.
can't render an opinion
Right,
on the advisability of him making a decision to not have insurance.
right,
And to provide something that children are on.
right.
Really
That is on him.
That's
Yeah.
true,
on
I
right
can
there.
tell y'all's exposure,
Right,
Well,
that's
okay,
all I'm gonna,
so,
that's
so
all
if he,
I'm gonna talk
if
about.
he,
Okay.
if he
All right,
loans
so-
us a bounce house, we just need to make sure we manage.
Let's get back to,
that's good,
Jeff-
and that'll save me some money on my budget.
Exactly.
real quick, I just
But let's
want,
get back to Jeff's budget.
I just wanted to say on the bounce house thing though, if they donate it and we destroy it somehow,
Then
okay,
It's
just
still-
making
it's
sure, just,
donated.
all
Could
right,
you make that contact, Bud?
yeah.
Huh?
Could you make that contact or introduce us?
it's Alfred on
I can
$1,000,
try.
yeah.
I mean, he works a lot. We can try to get him. I can definitely give you his
So,
contact.
anyway,
information.
uh,
I mean, it's
Jeff
just
is-
gonna be a phone call
Yeah,
anyway.
okay.
And a yes or no, and, you know, 'cause
Okay.
it's gonna be July the 4th. I mean,
All right.
a lot of that stuff's rented out right now.
Okay,
All right, so Jeff, you're coming to council with this agenda item, asking for your $5,000 budget
yes,
to be allowed to be spent, any,
not to exceed.
not to exceed.
Purposely, in my opinion, and not, this is all I'm gonna say about it, this should have been a discussion item, not an item for a vote.
No,
No, the spending policy
We have
actually,
already approved that money.
the
Yes, we
spending,
did.
but the spending policy trumps his budget.
No, it doesn't.
Yes,
He
it
just
does.
said it
Okay,
didn't.
I'm not gonna argue that.
Drew
Well-
said it didn't.
Right, it doesn't.
It doesn't pertain. Drew said it doesn't
Nothing wrong
pertain.
with getting this approved.
I mean, either way.
Oh,
It should
because
be, I mean, but
okay.
it's within
then
the
I'm
budget.
confused about this spending policy, because
The spending policy is non-budgeted item. Or
no,
it is
it's
your
2,500
ability,
in a
it's your
month.
ability without council approval.
That's right.
Right, and the spending
That's
policy
right.
basically says
When
$2,500 is your
When
limit.
you budget this amount, and honestly, I haven't reviewed the budget for community development, but when you budget this amount, that's approval to spend the money.
No, I understand, but the spending policy states $2,500 in a month, so if he's going over a month, he's supposed to bring it to council and make sure we
That's
agree.
what it states. And that's
So
what they
it's just
approved 3 months
conflicting a
ago.
little bit.
Well, let's approve it.
Well,
Yeah,
that's-
no, I'm good with
that's
it.
That's for non-budgeted, well,
No, it's not.
Let's just
It's-
approve it
Well,
and
that's,
move
that's a
forward.
subject we'll take up
It's
in
moved.
August.
there's not a, there's
Yeah,
zero,
all right,
there's
let's,
zero harm in presenting and
expo-
approving it.
No, that's true.
But if
Right.
It's just for the
Yeah,
transparency of
let's
it.
discuss that in August.
but it makes people do a bunch of extra work that they don't need to do, so we
Do
need
we have a
to, we need to get that
motion and a second?
clarified.
Policy is a lot of extra work, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Do we have a motion in a second?
What we did to open this discussion up. Any more
Yeah, we
discussion?
motioned it. Yeah, we've already.
Any more
So
discussion?
let me finish the last thing. We've answered that last question, my last page, and I'm not gonna read over it. It's for you to read. This should give you some solace when it comes to what Chris and I have done over the last year.
Yeah, we're fine.
So we are good to go. Put it to bed, put it to rest. I'm done with my part.
Okay.
And I think you put something in place that you shouldn't have to do next year. You get the permit, you do whatever y'all agree to
Yeah,
do.
There you go.
absolutely. All right. all-
Closed.
All
Sit
in,
down.
No, I'm just kidding.
Come in and don't say a word.
Are you delivering the margaritas?
all
It's
in,
certainly open to the public, but it's,
all in favor of approving Jeff's budget for the 4th of July, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next item up for discussion is consideration, discussion, and approval of the bid submitted to cut down trees in the park.
I'm gonna make that motion.
And a
Second.
second, any discussion? This is F.
I just want to say that Jeff pointed this out last year, 4th of July. We went over there and trimmed some stuff, but there's some trees over there that I think need to be removed. I don't want to be responsible for a limb falling out of one of them and hitting somebody when you got a whole bunch of people over there. So I just brought this to council, even though it's within my spending rights.
Yes.
Okay, I could have just approved this because the
All about
bids are.
transparency.
The bid's $1,500, was a low insured bid. It was $1,500. I got two bids, $1,500 and $1,850 or whatever it was. And so we're going with the $1,500, I am. And, I mean, I would think that's what everybody would want to do. It's apples to apples. So, and I went over the trees with them and showed him specifically what the other one had bid on, so we make sure we're getting the same thing. And we're gonna get the dead wood out right now out of the park. So before the 4th of July thing, hopefully, if weather permitting, we'll get it out of there. So one other point is if anybody wants some wood, okay? Man, I'm telling you, there's two big post oak trees over there, and that's very, very good wood. Post oak's phenomenal for barbecuing and stuff. So I'm just throwing that out there. I already have one person in my neighborhood that wants some, so I'll just help the guy out. He's gonna haul it off anyway.
I don't need any wood, I already cut down
Yeah, we're
5.
good.
Okay, so that's all I have on that. What do y'all think?
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we
Thank
have,
you.
I've got a vote, a discussion on the same subject, it doesn't have anything to do with vote. We got two other trees down, Shipley, to go to the water plant that need to come down. and they could just be dropped, but they are dangerously close to power lines that provide power to the sewer. Now, Bud pointed out to me that they might be in that easement, the energy might cut down, so we'll talk about that.
What about the one on?
We have pushed that with energy, sometimes all they'll do, they won't cut the tree down.
Do the tops.
They'll cut like right what's hanging over,
Yeah.
and that's it.
That's okay. I mean, our concern is to
Keep power.
keep the
Yeah.
power, not to
Yeah.
interfere with the power.
Yeah, it is, Bell Energy's somewhat responsive to that,
Yeah,
but it's
we'll
less
see.
than what you would.
At this point,
Way
it wouldn't be
less.
that hard to drop and just leave it wood there, but it kind of infringing on your area of responsibility, Roger, with the trees and stuff. That's kind of erosion ground.
Not really,
erosion
because that's
ground.
at the, that's inside the
Well,
fence
yeah,
at the,
well,
So it's water plant.
still kind of overlap, like parts of whatever.
I mean, that's
So,
inside. the
did
fence.
Heather show you the picture of the limb that's dangling over Leaning Oaks?
I have a
It's-
picture,
Oh,
and I
you-
printed
oh,
it out.
there you are. Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and it is, and we,
I'm
Okay,
wondering if-
we're waiting for them to come out here and do the light.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna try to get a hold of.
Whoever has trees, that we ought to give them that information so they can do that. We try to, I don't want to slow this down because this is on here and we need to go ahead and do that.
Well, I'm
I have
wondering
no
if we
more
could rope it
discussion
in
on
if
this
there's.
subject.
All right,
wonder if we could
so,
Just while he's out here, I was wondering if you take a look at it.
Yeah.
Well, he'll cut down at every tree out. he's
Can
got.
we look at the one on Riverbend and the one on Shipley, like you said? You know that Riverbend one that's like.
That's my archway.
I know, I love it, but just.
That tree's been there for
Because box
25
trucks
years.
hit it.
And I'm thinking
We have
about
an
cutting
ordinance
the end off of
where
it
it says
with my pole
no
saw.
commercial trucks.
Well, they come through here. They delivered a tiny home the other day.
Well, I'm thinking about cutting it with a pole saw, cutting the end of it off, but as far as taking that
Alright.
archway down. I don't really-
Any more discussion on the prices that we've obtained for the two bids?
Good work.
All right, so we have two bids. One's 1,500, the other one is 1,850.
Wait, where's the 1850?
I don't know, I can't hear over the monkeys.
It's to
Right
take
next
the
to
lower
it.
bid and that's
Behind
what
the,
we're
behind.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna basically accept the lowest bid, which is $1,500. Can I have a,
Wait,
We
hold
got a
on.
motion.
I'm sorry, I missed this.
I made the
Is it the
motion.
same scope of work?
same scope of
Yes.
work?
Oh, yeah.
I went
Okay.
over it with them.
Yep.
All in favor
Same
of
thing.
accepting the lowest bid, which is $1,500, say
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Next item up for consideration, discussion, and approval is decommitting the insurance funds that were previously designated for the splash pad. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
I beat you.
Any discussion?
I'm all for
It's a
it.
good move. Let's do it.
Yep, let's do it.
All right, so no discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Now, does that have to get moved? I'm sorry, but does that have to get moved or can it stay? We're just decommissioning.
That's all we're
okay?
doing is
We're not
decommissioning.
necessarily moving it.
Correct.
Okay, so
right.
we can
Decommissioned.
buy CDs.
Yep. All right, next item on the agenda, consideration, discussion, and approval of continually maintaining the two vacant properties on Chimney Rock, which is basically adding to the contractor's contract. Kind of a motion.
I'll make that motion.
And a second.
Second, third.
I'll let you go.
All right.
Y'all can
All
make
right,
a motion.
any discussion?
Jeff got it.
Trying to get out of here.
Any discussion?
I think it's good money.
Yep.
I think it's good money spent.
It's just for he's gonna spray all around the houses and spray around the trees and he's just gonna keep it knocked
Yeah,
down.
we can't lose
All we're
that.
doing
So-
is adding to his contract.
It's an addendum to the contract.
Correct.
And is that
That's
for
fine.
Got three full.
the length of time, or is it?
Once a month, I think, right?
Once a month,
Yeah.
and it's only during the growing season.
Correct.
Okay, it's not gonna be during the winter time. When the grass quits growing, he'll quit cutting.
But I mean, does the contract have an end date?
Oh, yeah, he's
Currently?
got
2
two
years.
more years.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
I think it's a 3-year contract.
Okay.
I think it's a 3-year contract. If it's either a 2 or a 3, I don't know.
All right.
But we're
Any more
covered.
discussion?
Once again, good work.
All right.
We haven't looked at Roger very much. I don't know if
What
he has
else
any
we got?
discussion points or
It's all
anything, but
All in favor of approving adding to the contract for the mowing crew? Say aye.
I,
Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
Yep.
Next item on the agenda, Consideration, discussion, and approval of the investment policy. Can I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
And a second.
I'll second that one.
Any discussion? This is just basically updating the investment policy that we have from 2020 to current.
How did you do that, Sherry? Did you just,
Basically, I went through it, I presented what my ideas were, presented it to Drew, and he cleaned it up.
okay.
Just updating the policy we had because our policy is old.
I mean, this gives you all flexibility to what to do with general, excess general funds.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like your household account, you got a lot of money, sometimes you want to segregate a little bit over to state.
Mhm.
This is not pertain, well, in the public, in the utility funds, but this doesn't pertain to kind of some other ancillaries, but this is general.
Yeah, we've discussed this.
Yeah.
Try to address concerns raised.
Okay.
all right, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next item on the agenda, consideration, discussion, and approval for assigning a council person to be the city's financial officer. Can I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
And I'll
a
say,
second. Any
Second.
discussion?
So this is the check to the mayor's balance? Wait,
Correct.
This is the balance to the mayor's check, by the way. This is the second person that is deciding what's appropriate.
The mayor's already designated
Yeah,
this.
Right.
she doesn't, this is the second person.
Somebody to
so are we
basically
gonna make
oversee what
somebody
I'm doing.
that right now?
We have 3 qualified people based on the
There's
state
no
law.
resolution, you'll just decide that we put it.
I mean, basically, from what I read under TML and the state law, we have 3 people that are qualified. It's Stephanie, Roger, and Jim. They have to take classes within 11 months, I think it is. Once they've taken their 11 months, 12 months, okay, after their first day. So they're the 3 people that are qualified. You guys
What
get to
makes
pick
us
somebody
qualified? I'm sorry.
Because y'all are the only ones that qualify.
within that 12-month period.
Because them
Oh,
two-
we're up for,
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
We're about done.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
Because of
I don't
our
want to
terms.
be.
That's right.
Yeah, it's all by
And what was
terms.
the qualification?
12 months.
12
Within
months.
12 months of being sworn.
And you sworn in 6
Yeah.
months.
And that was it.
That's it.
I must have misread that because I thought it said within 12 months of being appointed as
No,
the
it-
officer.
I read the thing and it says within 12 months of
Taking the
your
position.
you're swearing in and taking office.
I misread
That's-
that.
Yeah, it's-
I
it's
think
all
that's
part
what
of
we read,
some of the
Sabrina, correct?
Continuing
Okay,
education.
that's what we read. Dang, I mean, I don't know.
Well, so Jim, we have to think about this too. Jim would be mayor ex parte if something were to happen. So then you would have to come up with a new officer at that point as well, a financial
That's
officer.
not a problem. That's
Okay,
at the
just
meeting.
throwing
Bam.
that out there.
Done.
It's just basically would give me a second person to work with me, make sure I'm
Right,
doing
right.
things right. So,
I would like to
any,
say, are we gonna pick somebody, aren't we?
pick somebody.
I wanna nominate Jim.
I nominate Jim.
We all nominate
Does
Jim.
Jim like that idea or
You're
not?
welcome, Jim.
What do you think about it, Jim?
Just one more thing for Jim to
I'll
do.
do it.
Okay.
All right, so any more discussion?
The course ain't too hard.
All in-
You can get her to take it.
All in favor of picking Jim to be the appointed financial officer, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
She's gonna help you cut the trees down.
All right, motion
Did you
carries.
say
Next
aye?
item up for, next item on the agenda for consideration, discussion, and approval, granting DD 6 a larger easement on the city's property located on River Road. Have a motion
Make that motion.
and a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
What that is for anybody that doesn't know, it's over on River Road. There's a DD6 ditch that got very overgrown. Charlie pointed that out to me. I forgot about it. That's been off the map, okay? And they need an easement there. It just so happens that that's a green space for us, and all we're going to do is allow them to be able to have easement like we have everywhere else, so they can clean that ditch up. And so it's kind of a no-brainer.
And
So
there's
what
no
they did
conflict
over
with
here on
green
the-
space
No, there's not.
requirements?
The master property, same thing.
Yeah, it's going to be the same type thing. They're going to clean it up. You know.
Just making it easier for the easier it is for them to maintain, the easier it is for them to maintain.
Right.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Right.
They ain't going in there,
And
you
they're
know.
good about, they get in a lot of trouble going too far outside of their easements. We're careful about this.
Right.
But they know,
They want it in writing, and that's what we're doing. We're gonna give it to them. I
Let's
mean,
do
if
it.
y'all vote for it.
yeah, it's on our green space.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, any more discussion? All in favor of approving granting DD6 a larger easement, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
They just-
All right.
they just-
We are to number 8. Up for discussion is the solicitation ordinance 240 pertaining to door-to-door solicitation. Bud brought this to the agenda. Before he starts his discussion, I'd like to say something. I'm all for it because I had to deal with somebody today trespassing on my property. A guy on a e-bike or a scooter
We saw him.
for some pest control.
We saw him.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
and it's like,
He
what
came
the
by
hell
the
are you
office
doing?
on that
Yeah.
scooter.
On your property. Wow.
On my property, so I'm all for it. I don't have any paperwork to back this up, Bud, but I think that we could actually state that if we approve getting rid of that ordinance and saying no solicitation, if anybody comes to the office, they'll say no solicitation. Till we
And,
get this
and,
caught
and we
up.
can replace the sign
Yes,
in the front because we have you have to stop by the office to get a building permit. All contractors must stop by the office. So we don't need the little red sign anymore with
Take it
all that
down.
information on it. Okay, we don't need that anymore. So we can put up a no solicitation sign.
I like it.
yeah,
I do
because
too.
these guys are
And we'll
getting
put
really
one
bold.
there, we'll put one on Riverbend, and we'll put one on
Carroll.
Lowry Place.
Hey, quick question, who's motioning for this?
Oh, well, this is a discussion item, so you want to move it to a.
I want to move it to an action item. I'm going to make a motion to move this to an action item.
I
All in-
I
second.
will follow that.
Okay.
So what's required to do that?
All you have to do is
You're
make a
gonna have to
motion.
rewrite an ordinance.
Well, right now, we don't have any paperwork to back it up. It's to cancel that ordinance 240.
Oh, gotcha. So we have to.
Or can we?
Basically, we're saying no door-to-door solicitation.
No, I get that.
We just wanna
I'm more
stop
on
it.
the procedural reality of, you're moving it from discussion to.
To an
action item.
To an action
where
item.
You're repealing it.
Yeah.
And we haven't given notice to the public that the ordinance is going to be repealed.
Okay.
We told the public that we're going to
Talk about it.
Okay.
So someone can come and talk about it, but we can't repeal it.
Okay.
So-
Because we didn't say that we were going to repeal it. We said
So
we're
we gotta
going
do
to
it,
talk
we
about
gotta
it.
wait. till-
Wait till
do it in
July.
Gotta wait a
We
month.
gotta wait till next
Well,
meeting.
That was a month.
Can that be
That's
done
okay.
in a special meeting, Drew?
No, not especially.
Are you talking to me?
Next
Yeah.
meeting.
Are you talking?
July.
I don't care. I mean, I just wanted it to happen, you know?
Remind the girls to not
Monday,
issue any
Monday.
permits.
It's going to have to happen.
We'll just
for the
tell them
next
don't
30
issue
days
permits.
unless y'all-
Do it that way.
Sure.
Unless you do a special meeting.
Okay.
I'm sorry, we can't move it.
No, that
So as
makes
far
sense.
as the discussion goes, we're basically,
I'll do
We're just
our
gonna-
discussion now.
and, well, I think we're all in agreement with
Yeah.
doing that. We just gotta put it in. the-
Many people were complaining.
But let's
So,
order the
we're
sign,
all ward, so yeah.
Absolutely.
because this
Make
comes,
Yeah, right.
let's order, let's get the signs ordered so we can get them up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely say that.
Okay. I like it, bud. Good job.
All right, any
Roger
more?
has something to say.
Oh, okay. What's up, Roger? Oh, I maybe said something back.
Question.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Waiting on you.
Can't hear you.
No soliciting, that means for dark people, services, that means nobody.
Nobody.
Door to door.
Yep.
Yep.
That doesn't
So I
mean,
do need some time because we got some free speech issues here.
oh, yeah.
Because
I
of the
do
sign.
need
Yeah,
some, I do
that's
need
right.
some I do need to look into it. So this will be time well spent. But yes,
Well-
we can regulate that. This was limiting it to, you have to register, you have to do all this X, Y, and Z. Because you put reasonable restrictions on free speech, but this is,
Free speech on my property is not allowed.
I'm with you.
Sorry.
I'm not anticipating significant
Okay.
issues.
I told the kid today
But
I
we're
was
gonna
gonna
have
have him
to
arrested for trespassing.
forward healing this.
Go
We
out
may
there
have
with
to
my
temper it a
tank
little
top.
bit,
Right.
and I'll be glad to roll it back as much as we can.
Okay.
Drew, I ended up getting stood, got stood corrected, or however way you want to say. I got reprimanded. I basically ran a guy off that was soliciting political stuff.
Oh, that you can.
And
You can't,
Yeah,
yeah.
you got
He's-
Girl Scouts, you got
His
visitors.
Yeah,
his boss
okay.
came up
I
there and
gotcha.
told me that you can't do that. That's
Outside of
against.
the
501c.
Yeah, you can't do
So
that.
we have to, I will make it as conservative as I can,
Sure.
but the door-to-door solicitation is a proud.
No Jehovah
I
Witnesses.
do have one question. If property owners put no solicitation on their own property, though,
You can do
that is everything,
You're
right?
basically telling them they're trespassing if they're soliciting.
Gotcha.
That's
So
totally-
you're giving them a trespass warning.
Gotcha.
I've put a no trespass sign.
But I think you should
But
put
but they
both.
don't know that solicitation
Right.
is trespassing.
You have to
so
put
you say
both.
no solic- So everyone listening, put no soliciting,
It's-
no solicitation, or you are trespassing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Good shot.
Hey, city can make some money on those
Association.
signs, have a bunch of signs to sell at City Hall.
There you go.
A warning shot.
So
would probably
we have
take care of it.
so that's solicitation.
Right.
If someone who, a Jehovah's Witness, who wants to proselytize, they're allowed to at least ask.
What about-
It's religious freedom, and similarly, our Baptist church, whatever, they can ask, and it's not solicitation, they're just First Amendment, you exercise in their First Amendment rights, but you can take, this is a complex issue.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
All right, any more discussion?
Actually, what happened here recently was that they came out here and there were some really hard salespeople selling these security systems.
That sucked.
And then there were some people that bought them and weren't happy with them.
All right,
Although
let's
they are
let's move on to reports. Jeff, you want to start with a report if you have one, or
Since we're
bye?
past the business.
Yeah, we're good. Later.
I wanted to hear what you had to say about the hard sale on you.
So my wife, I married my wife at Maryland Law School. So when they feel like they're comfortable getting past me, they have to deal with my wife, who was a prosecutor, and gets to have discussions with me daily. So it's always interesting when they put the hard sell on her, like these salesmen stuff with the hard sell on her, and she's like, "Son, you brought a knife to a gunfight."
I used to be
We've been
door-to-door
there, haven't we?
sales, and I can't stand it.
They're aggressive. I mean, I feel bad.
Kirby
I'm
Hey, we got three.
Well, he gets to go. We're
You
to
can
the
go, we're
point
just doing
of
report.
reports.
Unless you need two reports.
No.
Jeff, do you have a report?
So, okay, on my report being community events. So we have the Independence Day rolling on its own. Next up is going to be in September is the car show. We will have a much different involvement in this based on what we learned from last year. So those details will be coming up, and anybody who wants to be a part of that planning, I encourage. What I don't appreciate is anybody in other parts of the community that fuss and fight about what they don't participate in. I will say part of the community events has been the flags, and Stephanie helped put the flags out this year, and we did it on a much smaller scale because we simply didn't have the time or the manpower. And whenever, I don't think they were up 3 days before we started getting complaints. Hey,
Right.
you skipped my street altogether, and hey, what about this one? I'm just not
And I get it. 'cause-
sure how to deal with that.
Well, your
Right.
skin's gonna have to be thicker than that.
Well, I mean, I didn't lose any sleep.
No.
Yeah, that's what
I didn't lose any sleep. I slept very well.
Neither did I, but it's about time we go, okay, well, it's not gonna happen unless you volunteer.
So, we just, I don't know. We've just got this stigma that it's got to be done this way.
Right.
And the person who used to put the flags out fussed at me. And then he ended up taking them down voluntarily. And that started a dumpster fire with somebody else in his family. So I would really like some help figuring out when the flags go out, how many we put out, and come to a consensus as a group, what is appropriate.
But
Well,
we did last
let's-
time. We discussed, since we had no, and I'm totally in
Yeah.
agreement with you, because just because it was done that way with the previous flag person does not constitute that we have to constantly do that. Because
You're not gonna
my
do that.
schedule is not their schedule. So they
Exactly.
can't tell me I have to take it down within a week, period. That's not how it works. So it won't happen that way. So me and Jeff, well, we would figure it out when it would happen. We were communicating, and then all of a sudden the flags were being taken down because they were pissed. That's not going to happen anymore. They have no permission to touch city property anymore.
Oh,
Whose property?
City's property. They don't have permission to touch city's property and ask for access to the storage facility either.
No.
Storage facilities getting ready to be moved.
Well, regardless,
Well, they
people
still gotta
that
put
are
it
not
in.
on council don't go in, or mayor or city, don't go in the storage facility.
Well, I would like to see us come together as far as a plan
Yes.
as to where we're going to put them, how many we're going to put out, and that will become the norm.
yep,
Okay,
The new
that'll
norm.
just become the
I'll
norm,
write a resolution.
and that's what we'll do.
I bet you will.
I did.
I
That way
mean,
got it.
we can
But
decide
but
when we're going to put them out, what days, Memorial Day, 4th of July, Veterans Day. That's my three. You know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, whatever.
There needs to be a minimum plan, but it
Put it
could
on the calendar.
expand. I mean, as the community changes, you may have less volunteers, you may have more volunteers any given year, depending. So you could have 50 flags, but only one volunteer.
I'm
Maybe
pretty
not
sure
all
we
of
put
our
out
good-
at least 50 flags. this
Well,
time.
I know, yeah, we did, and it wasn't bad, but if you have 10 volunteers, maybe we buy, 100 that
And
way.
I
Well,
think we've got a
and we
total of
need to be
160.
careful. We need to be
Right.
careful about the flags being worn and tattered and
It's
ripped.
it's not the
and, you know.
flags, it's the holders. The holders are not stable, so they just whip around.
Well, we had some flags that were ripped.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I didn't put up
Yeah,
anything.
well, I didn't put anything.
Well, I know
They
you're not putting them
made
up
it.
that are ripped, but if they're
They got that
in
way?
if they look like they're getting worn, we need to. If we only instead of doing 200, if we do 50, we can manage that a lot.
Yeah.
That's what,
better,
that's what we did.
can manage that and keep it
Well-
looking
Well, and
nice.
then you're right, it needs to be communicated to the community. We are no longer doing the grand scale flags with less than volunteers.
That's
My question is,
something
those
that we
people
decide.
Complain, how many they put out?
0.
Well, then,
Then they don't.
But the ones that complained took them all down for us.
Mm-hmm.
One of them that complained took them all down for us.
well,
But I got a
You know, Jeff,
disturbing call about that.
it's-
I-
I'll tell you what, I'll swap with you. I'll take care of the flags and you take care of the water.
Oh, no. I'm just, as a consensus, all I was doing is bring it to the group,
No,
you know.
Just suck it up. Do
Yeah.
what's right. Figure it out. Do what's right. Try to get more people.
We don't have a mandate to put out 200 flags.
No.
That's right.
But,
I think 50
tell you
flags is
It does
plenty.
make me proud to ride down that road and see flags all the way down Sweet
Mhm.
Hill.
I do like it.
Other than the ones at my house, I've never put one out, so
Right.
I can't complain about them, and I've not helped. But there's a lot of young people out here that can help.
I put them out with Doug, and I'm telling you that
Oh, Doug wants
that
to
was a
have a lot.
lot of flags.
Yeah, because they're not all easy. You gotta get a ladder on.
And
You
they're
got to get a
expensive.
ladder. You got to get in the
Yep.
weeds. You got to go across the big ditch out there on 105. I mean,
Okay.
it's a job.
But I
Check-
agree,
check
50
with-
flags
Next
down
time.
the Sweet Gum, and maybe we buy 100 so we can make sure we always have 50 that are in good condition.
Well, let's put it on the agenda
Yeah,
next time,
something like
next meeting, and
Yeah.
let's decide and let's put in place what we want to do.
Agreed.
You're right, put them out again, check with
Jeff,
Connie's
do you wanna talk
schedule,
about
and I'll assign her.
But
So-
when are you doing 4th of July? Because I won't be here. 4th of July flags.
We'll put them out the weekend before.
See, we're going to be driving to Kentucky, so I won't be able
That
to help.
next weekend?
Yes.
Next weekend.
Yes.
And
we'll-
that's
we'll-
the thing that sucks. We don't have volunteers anymore. So Jeff being stuck doing that is not real fair.
What else do you? What else?
So we'll figure that out.
Okay.
And I think there's some holders somewhere. I think Chuck may have some.
Okay.
So last of my report, I'm going to speak up with Sabrina and with the mayor. We've gone through several demos, quote processes, and for an updated website that would bring us up to compliance to ADA. And we found Sabrina did the legwork here, found a Texas-based company that does website development for small municipalities, 3,500 and less. Began to look at their references. Sabrina did an amazing job calling, emailing, I guess, the people around here, the cities around here that use their services. Because when they hit us with this idea of $1,200, it's like, okay, I'm waiting for the next shoe to drop. There's going to be something. There's no way it could be that cheap. And we being Sabrina, began looking at the local towns around, sending out the emails. They said, in fact, this is a 5-star company. They've not given us any additional billing. We've had them for X amount of years. So we went on a demo today. It was a 2-hour demo. And what they propose is nothing short of miraculous. It's a wonderful property to own, basically. And they will get us done for this $1,200. And it's a really, really, really good service. So, executive session, basically, after the phone call, the meeting after the meeting, it was decided to move forward with this. And not on my budget. So,
Out of my budget.
So it was moved forward on. The new website's coming, and it is completely ADA compliant.
What did
Yes.
Jeremy say? Did you like it?
Jeremy has no clue.
Oh, he wasn't?
He wasn't.
I wasn't either, so I was hoping.
Jim was there for the first
Okay.
45 minutes or so of it.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I was there when the screen was blank.
Oh.
He
I thought you
left,
did.
he left right as it was starting.
Oh,
We
okay. I
asked
thought you.
lots of questions
Lots
and
of
made sure that it would have everything that we could possibly.
I mean, it's almost like it's too good to be true.
It is.
And
So, but
Jeff,
I see everything.
A
Oh.
couple of dollar questions. This $1,200, is that the setup cost, or is
Yes.
that the setup plus annual?
Plus
If I'm reading this, it's $1,236 to set it up, and then $737 to
Annually.
maintain it every year.
Yes, sir.
right.
What is the cost of the existing system we have now? $300 a year?
Yeah.
And those other two that we looked at,
We're extremely
They were like
Do you recall what they-
6,000.
they
6
were, I
and 7.
remember them being very expensive.
First year would have been about 10 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With
Yeah, because I mean, we kind of.
we can't afford that.
So you're really looking at increasing the cost for a brand new website of $437 a month.
So my
Pretty
only
much.
question though is
Not
for
a month.
Jeremy as far as
A
our
year,
server
A year.
storage. Like, will this website store anything or?
Yes.
Yes.
Will
Unlimited
respond.
documents
It's all cloud.
And images.
unlimited images.
Okay, so it might help in the server
Oh,
situation.
yeah, oh,
Okay,
yeah.
Yeah, we own our domain, so our website won't change.
right.
It'll
gotcha.
still be citybevaloaks.com.
Yeah.
And once they get all the information, it can go like
They said within 3 days.
3 days in operation.
No way.
Yeah,
Three business days.
3 business days.
They're lying. They're lying. I want to see this
Did y'all
happen.
see, Heather and or Sabrina, did y'all see anything that would save you time or save us money?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
A
a
lot.
lot. That's basically what was like. the
Calendar?
icing on the cake.
Calendar.
Oh, yeah,
yes.
So
you
for
can
rentals
post
and
yes.
stuff?
And
Yes.
you can, and they have themes for like events and like letting you know that the
Alerts.
office is closed or.
Okay,
I was going to talk about the
That's nice.
alerts.
It is
Perfect.
awesome. It's got an alert system on it, like, so boil water notice thing will pop up and you can tell them how many days and what address.
The alert thing is well worth the $1,200.
I mean,
because-
it's
yeah,
awesome.
Now, we're going to have to encourage citizens to subscribe,
correct.
because that's an opt-in option. And the subscribe button, one button subscribe, one button unsubscribe, as the law mandates. But you subscribe, you tell it you want an email or text or both.
Right.
And whenever they put in an alert for boil water notice, it immediately pings their phone, their email, and it'll take them back to the link on the website that gives them all the details. And you can set that up one time, tell them start right now, end in 3 days or end in 7 days, and she doesn't have to touch it again.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, it's
Everbridge.
very similar to our Everbridge system that does the call out. It's
At 3
the same
a.m.
format. I mean,
3
and
a.m. in the morning.
it's awesome. But this is optional. So if you're a citizen here and you don't want that alert or that pop-up to notify you, you can
Opt out.
unsubscribe. But, because, you know, the people sometimes fuss that we do too many call-outs or whatever. Well, in this instance, you can be on that list and it'll notify you of something. And if you don't want to be on the list, you can unsubscribe. So you don't have to have.
So the goal should be to go the other way, people move more toward this and off the
Yes.
phone.
Yeah.
And mean, it's
that
very,
would-
very,
That would take time, so we have to manage
Good.
two
It
systems
also
for a
has
while.
a
Simple.
search button.
has a
Search
search button, then
So-
it pulls up the document.
It does not search Google, it only
Searches
searches
our website.
Your
the
website.
document titles. It will not search within a document for a certain word. However, if you title something, I always use water. Same thing. So if you search water, anything that has a title with water on it, it'll bring it.
Oh, so it doesn't search the documents?
Well, because our
That's the only
PDFs
Oh,
are
no,
actually
no,
a
okay,
scan,
yeah.
but if you,
But if we retype those
into
in
Word, I
to
think
Word-
it'll work.
No, there's searchable PDFs, but not those, not
Right,
the
those are
old
not.
kind.
All
Yeah.
right, so this
Yeah,
wasn't on
sorry.
the agenda for a decision.
No, I already
it's
made the
just to let
decision,
you
we're
know
doing it.
That's an FYI.
That's just to let
That
you
it's
know.
happening.
That's, yeah.
It's $800 a year, so it's.
Yeah. I love it. Good
You have a-
job, Sabrina.
Do you have a report?
Probably should give the council a little heads up of the ordinance sweep that's coming up. A letter will be going out. Sorry, a call out, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe should we wait for the website?
No, let's do it while Sabrina's on vacation.
Right.
No,
Yes.
absolutely not doing it while Spring's on vacation. I will lock the doors and go home.
So the intent is we've had some complaints about multiple properties. We've probably been a little lenient, but we need to get those taken care of. So we're giving notice as a warn to the residents that, let's just make sure you're in compliance with some major ordinances. So, and it'll mostly be, I think that it's listed on there's 3 different ones, like dilapidated buildings, junk vehicles, and then,
Trash.
and then we put a little reminder on there, you have the responsibility to maintain the mowing and weed eating of the ditches. So, kind of just for hurricane season, because it's just, damage to other properties you can cause, so,
And if you're found in non-compliance, what's the next step? on that?
well, okay, my opinion is, this is the first sweep in a while, so I don't see many like this. I think there's some, maybe under 5, that are way beyond what anybody should be having on their property. But I think if we give them the letter and we see some changes or movements, I think we could be a little lenient and kind of work with them. So I'm not saying that we should go straight to violation immediately, but
Well,
if
there's
they're
a couple
moving things
And
and
there's some
trying to,
abandoned homes on like River
Yes.
Road I haven't addressed yet. So
right,
those will be caught up in it.
right.
I'm trying to
They
play
don't?
catch up.
If they don't,
And if they don't,
then
yeah.
they'll get a
Then it's-
violation and citation.
Yeah, and then the lien process goes.
Right.
It's following the process that you used earlier on the vacant homes, and you
Correct.
saw some improvement
We're just
with-
giving notice. We're not required to give 30
when you
days
made notice. You
but
couldn't
we're-
make them,
Right.
couldn't make them do anything. What
Right.
could we do? Nothing.
Yeah.
But a lien will go on their property and so forth, so.
Your turn, Jim.
Yeah, a couple real quick things. We're toying with, it's called I-9 infiltration and what's the other I? In-
Influx.
Inflow or something. Anyway, rainwater gets in the sewer system and puts a demand on our sewer system. Anyway, that's a problem. So we're looking at some of those. And one of the things that we may end up doing, but it probably won't be in this budget, is do some smoke tests somewhere down the road. And the reason I bring that up is that we got rid of all that surplus equipment down there that was no good, but we did keep the smoke machine. And Charlie was wanting to know whether we wanted to try to overhaul it yet. And I basically said, no, let's don't spend any money on it until we know where we're going to do that. So just, I told him that I'd bring that up so that others were aware, because it's going to create a problem if we do a smoke test. Basically, what you do is you back pressure smoke, and it's going to show where your leaks are. It's going to come up people's yard and out their vents. If their toilets aren't sealed, it's going to come up in their house.
Mhm.
And,
Oh, yeah.
but it's going to show things where we've got weaknesses. But before we do that, and we've got some other steps we're going to do that are going after the really big dogs. And anyway, that's one thing we're looking at. The other thing too is we've got kind of a need for a small concrete sidewalk. Down at the water plant, we ran into a problem trying to move stuff here like 6 months ago. And it's not enough to bid a job on concrete because, you know, it's going to be a partial truck. So I'll throw it out there. If anybody else has got some needs down the line where they think we may need a concrete pad, a sidewalk, a handicap spot or something, just keep that in mind so we can do it all together. One other thing that is totally not related to the water sewer operation. We've had a couple of issues, one just recently, one earlier, looking at one of these ordinances that I think needs to be highly addressed, and that's ordinance enforcement. There's so many of these things that are coming up as we try to make this place better. We are going to require somebody that has that shirt that says that, or a badge, or a cap, or a gun, or whatever it is that these people have to have some, who said it to the highest magnitude to put something behind these ordinances. So
I agree with that, because we are actually, our neighbors moving, and they've mentioned some reasons why.
yeah, so you know, something. I mean, you know, we've had it. Most of y'all hadn't been out here then. Jeff and Bud both have, but we've had marshals before for both loads, and we shared them, and we've had ordinance enforcement people. But it costs money because it's talking about hiring somebody. Whether you share them with somebody else, you hire somebody full time to do it, whatever. So
Right.
put that in your thinking caps, because as you work on y'all's fields and whatever, you're going to see things that need enforcement.
We'll need to
Well, there's
probably
different-
address it during the
Charlie
budget
can't
meeting
do
Yes,
too.
because there's
You
different
can only
kinds,
wear
like,
so many skins.
we could do code enforcement and then have a marshal part-time, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could have,
Ordinance
A mix and
enforcement is
match.
totally different.
right, I can enforce.
Anything else,
ordinance,
Bud? You have a report?
Yep.
Oh, Lord.
Okay.
Let's go.
I attended the June 10th DD6 meeting. There was a bunch, the meeting lasted over 2 hours, okay? They have budgeted things on here, 50 million, 50 million, 44 million, I mean, big projects that DD6 does, and they keep up with complete future, you know, what they're doing. They just recently got and we, by the way, Bevel Oaks made their agenda, okay? This is for the ditch over there behind, next to Stephanie's house. That's 1204. They're gonna, they got permission to proceed with that. We also, they're gonna do they got a $2.2 million grant to do a study on the Pine Island Bayou, and the president kind of winked at me when they said that, because that's directly gonna affect Bevel Oaks. And it's an engineering company they got approval to pay them $2.2 million to do a study on how to get this to drain. Okay, what brought this on is Lumberton is building on this end, and all that water's coming into Pine Island Bayou. They don't have a drainage district in Lumberton. Okay, so they reached out to DD6 for, you know, what do we need to do? Well, they need to build some detention ponds. Okay, because they're going to put too much water. They're adding, and it's coming in. You know, they need to detain that water. So that's all. It was just super. I mean, to hear them talk. I mean, they're doing a lot for us. And y'all approved this evening them to have the right of way to clear 1204E. That's on River Road. So they'll get that. We'll send that to them. I checked the drainage during both of the last two big rainfalls that we had. I drove around and checked everything. I did identify a problem out here in front of the Civic Center, okay, that's backing up to the corner. It was going up that guy's. My main thing with drainage is if it's going to get in somebody's house. That's a big thing, okay? The next thing is it going over our roads, okay? And then if somebody's got a little bit of water standing in their ditch, you know, after it rains, you know, I mean, it's gonna fix and be summertime. Okay, so we can't. The county doesn't have the manpower to come out here and dig every. I think we figured it out. It'd take them 20 years if they started right now on what we have to get half of it done. So they
On a
don't,
continuous basis, though.
Half-life of 20 years.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it would take, at 3 days a month, it would
Right.
take years and
You finish
years and
one, you
years
have to
to
hit
do
it
that.
again
So
in
we have to
100 days.
identify the main problems that we have, get them corrected. The county completed a project on Moss Hill that we turned a work order in for the new house over there on the corner. That was stopped up down there, so they came out, they dug that ditch out, completed that work order. As of right now, we have no work orders in with the county, okay? The roads, I talked this over with Jody. We're still online for our end of Chimney Rock, and then the project on Thousand Oaks, and then they're gonna they have the limestone in their yard right now for the end of the boulevard. They're gonna bring that out as soon as they can. He said every time they go to do it, something breaks. He said he's gonna get it out here and get that done. Let's see. That's about it. I just, y'all's opinion on how to handle these roads and drainage is important for y'all to talk about y'all's wards and what needs to be done. So far, most of the work's been done in Ward 2. Road-wise, it's going to be Ward 3 is going to get most of the road work. Ward 2 is going to get a little bit. Ward 1's not getting any. But we're going by what we need to do, and that's only going to be brought forth by, Sabrina told me, brought up Chimney Rock, I believe is what she said, that, there's hardly any road there. It was kind of like Jeff's road was before it got blacktop. He didn't have a road. I mean, he had his shell road, basically, and that's what Chimney Rock is now, and our residents don't deserve that. So, and y'all approved the money to fix those roads. So we have that. It's all ongoing. So
I drove through doing volunteer trash day, and most of the roads seem pretty good. I mean, they're not bad. There's a couple little.
still
Thousand
gonna
Oaks is still terrible.
we're
But
still going to do some patching.
Right.
Chuck and I did go patch a few potholes on Sweet Gum. If you get one bad pothole, we have some stuff over there, that we can use to get, if one develops. We want to wait and utilize the county when they can come out and do a sweep and do all the roads. They do all the roads and patch, and that's once every, 3 or 4 months or something?
I do have a question. On the flowers up front, did we ever get water to those?
No, but they took off.
Yeah,
I mean,
they seem to be doing
the
okay.
roses are doing that. And then that's what he said. He said you got to water them for a little while, and then once they set in, we got Indian hawthorns and we got some knockout roses up there. We got Indian hawthorns out here. Those things that grow on concrete. So, I mean, they're pretty sustainable.
I was thinking about it because I'm looking at a solar pump for myself. And I was like, I wonder if we could use a solar pump there and a water catch
Yeah,
for the flowers.
But I mean, all that stuff looks better. I think everything's looking better out here as far as I can see. But if anybody has anything, if you tell me, I can, we can.
I've even been looking at the ditches on Riverbend when I leave, and they don't look too bad.
DD6 is doing good. I
Yeah.
mean,
The mowing has gotten
Beaumont-
caught up in the rain.
Yep.
Okay,
Beaumont
right
flooded.
now.
We didn't.
They're delayed right now on the rain. I talked to Keith, and they'll be out here mowing Friday and Saturday probably, which is going to kind of put them on track for July the 4th to be able to mow ahead of on July the 3rd, let's say, so that the park and the boulevard and everything will look nice. So we're kind of, he's been delayed. It's rained. I mean, you can't help it when it rains. So he mowed the front, but you can't mow the water plant. Your water plant's terrible down there on the side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyhow,
Anything else?
May I interject one more thing?
yes.
So Roger joined us
Yeah.
from Yuma, Arizona. This is the first attempt at a remote login.
You can ask him if he has a
Hi, Roger.
report.
That was the next thing. If you can hear me, if you can still hear me, do you have something you'd like to interject on your report?
It's delayed.
It's way delayed.
Do you have anything you want to talk to us about? Coming in late? Okay. Well, again, this is the first shot at it. We're trying to make all the legal hurdles so that if any of us are traveling, you can only do 2 consecutive remotely. But we just need to make one little addendum to the agenda that says a member could be remotely in. And that could be a standing deal added to the
I
agenda.
would put it on there.
But it's not, gonna-
Especially with
but it's
live.
still, they can't vote.
They
Is that
can't.
correct?
No,
can't
they
have
can't.
it
No, no.
Put on that agenda.
Right. Once
It's
it's,
Huh?
on the agenda.
Once that verbiage is put on the agenda, that they
Then
can't
they
remote
can.
in, they can vote.
it
Yeah.
meets the Opens Meetings Act. So
Yeah.
once you
But
inform the public, then
citizens
he
have to be able
can,
to see him and hear him.
yeah.
So,
So you're
yeah,
working on it.
some of the qualifications are, I don't want to belabor this, but he's got to be visible the whole time.
Yeah,
He's got to be able to hear us the whole time. We've got to be able to hear him the whole time.
right.
He can't, the quorum has got to be local.
Mhm.
So with him out of the picture, if he were to make us a quorum, that would be fine.
No.
That would be fine.
No,
Physically, we have to have a
No,
quorum.
you have to
physically.
be here physically.
But the
Right.
quorum would still be here. Our quorum is not, unless it's over 3 counties or something like that. Anyway, we're working on this. This is our very first time. And thank you for your indulgence. It's always a roll of the dice the first time.
what can we do about the audio though? Really,
It's the first time. We don't have a, did you want to say something, Roger?
like goes in and out.
It could be the speed of our internet too.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Sayonara?
Can I have a
Okay.
motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'm going to adjourn the
So,
meeting.
I've got resident
Go ahead.
Go ahead. We're waiting.
residents of Ward 1, pertaining to the property at the end of River Oak, by the canal.
River Oaks by the canal.
I think he's talking about River.
He's talking about a,
The- the boulevard.
overgrown property. That's
Yeah.
what he's talking about, across the street from his house.
Property that has the garage and the watermelon truck.
Yes.
We need to put that on our list.
Yeah, yeah.
That's across the street from your house? Is that the one?
Yes. They're asking me why after three, they're asking why over 3 years now that the owner is not having any responsibility. That was purchased after Harvey, that I'm being told the person that lives in the big red house owns that property.
No, he doesn't.
No, he does not, is what I understand now.
Yeah.
And this is why we're
Doing
working on the
sweep.
sweep, because some communication might settle some of these concerns of the complaints that you're getting. At least they'll start seeing some momentum on it.
That is his watermelon truck.
So that's Chet's watermelon truck?
I can run plates. It's not a big deal.
Have you
Find out who it
discussed
belongs
that with Chet?
So we're concerned about a watermelon?
That's a big red
Can't
house.
see the truck because the leaves are over the top.
Oh,
That's in
gotcha.
the driveway is the owner of the person that lives in the big red house.
Have you discussed that with him?
Tow it.
Can't tow somebody.
It's
That's
private
off
property.
somebody's private
It'll be a
property.
private property tow, and
Unless
tow
you
truck
won't pay
companies
for it.
won't touch it.
No, we can do it and try to do their lien, yeah. as a
He
lien.
said, no, he has not talked to me.
That would be the first step, it seems like. That's what I do.
Well, we're over ordinance stuff and that, we'll take care of it in the
And
sweep.
everybody who gets a
Well, I
letter
went
gets
to
to
my
call
neighbor.
Heather in the
Yes,
office.
talk to
Hey,
them.
y'all take it easy on me next week, I'm serious. Not even joking.
There's gonna be a lot going on.
No, we're all coming down to hang out with you.
I got a
Okay,
question.
Is the meeting adjourned or?
No, let me ask
Oh,
one
okay.
more question before this. They're having trouble with this people being able to pay online.
I have no trouble. I go right to the link.
He's there
Jim
every
is aware.
Well, I'm just making sure, I mean, is there something in the works to try to fix that?
actually.
We have.
Well,
the-
they can
the-
all pay now.
You
They have to
couldn't
go
ask
to
us
the
that
website.
question, bud.
Huh?
You couldn't ask us that question. We went on a call with Beauty Billy and discussed it with them this week, and they're our software people.
And then there's a second software company that we
Yes.
learned about
Yeah.
today.
That's
So we're
another one.
trying to get it resolved, and we've been sending emails back and forth.
I mean, that's causing y'all problems, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But can I ask a question? Why
That's why
does
I'm
the
going to the
link
guy that
on-
runs it.
Yeah,
Why
he
does the
knows
link
about
on the
it. He
account
also
statement
knows about
email
the problem
work?
we have with meters and
Because I have no
invoices.
trouble with that.
They
It
cannot
doesn't
send
work
me the
on the
URL
website,
for that.
though.
I don't.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah,
make any
so
sense.
it's not working.
Every
She said that she
URL,
does it.
every URL that they sent me, whenever I post it on the website,
All right.
go on the website
Let's-
and click on it, and it brings us to our page.
Back to your website, yeah.
Something's wrong with the website then, because I have no problem going straight from my email,
Yeah,
It's
and you
special.
won't.
my
You
special.
won't.
It's probably a GoDaddy issue. It's
Yep.
probably something within the HTML.
There's
Well,
something
that's not-
conflicting
That's
security
a
or
Bud's question,
something.
that's a problem that we're well aware of, we've
We're
been
working on
Good.
it.
struggling with it for a month.
And Jeremy is.
We've had a couple of
got stuff
meetings.
he's gonna be working on, so when, if it is, we can have him look at the website.
And
There's
that,
my
and
account.
we can talk about the generator at the water plant, and we can talk about the,
See,
Like-
you don't
Right
mind
there.
going to it and clicking on it.
So you get-
That's what they need to do.
Let's do a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make that motion to adjourn.
Second.
second,
All
Got a
right.
motion in a second.
I agree.
Motion
Can't-
carries.
Thank you, Roger, for
Thank
joining
you,
us.
Roger.